So let me confirm it first. So I'm going to open a channel on the left side. Okay, everyone, we are starting the session for IT remote skills, and let's go ahead and first confirm if we are live. And I think we are live right now. Awesome. So we are going to be live right now on YouTube. We're going to be live on Zoom. So if you really want to join this session, I'm going to show you quickly how can you be a part of this session if you want to join. Let me open this Zoom right now, and I'm going to admit Nelson and share the screen. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We got a lot of people today. So if you are watching us on Zoom and you want to be a part of this session, then make sure you go to the community on Jobskillshare channel. And then on the bottom right here, if you click on more right here in this post, there's this Zoom link here. You can be a part of this session and ask questions and learn with us. This is going to be an amazing session. This is not a full-blown training, by the way, but it's going to have so many people with different type of experiences that we're going to just probably cover almost everything in a broader level, considering the IT remote skill. So there's a lot that we're going to talk about, and this is not a very formal training, so anybody can jump in. But of course, when we're trying to train something, or we're in the middle of something very like deep, like this is how you connect things, or this is how you connect in, then we would request you to hold your question for a little bit, just to make sure we don't go out of our way in this video. And of course, to the people who always complain about, where's this technical stuff, this is, again, the focus is going to be brand new people who want to learn stuff. So we have to be very careful for them as well, because these are the people that want to learn. That's why they are joining this session and from all around the world. So let's go ahead, and once we know that how to join, and we have 3 hosts in this with me. There's and they're doing their, you guys are letting people in, right? So we got Kumail and everybody too. So let's get started. And the first thing I want to basically talk about, can you guys see my screen? Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me confirm this right here. So the first thing we want to talk about is, what is the title over here? And what are we covering right here? The title, we are naming this Remote IT Skills Learning. Now, that doesn't mean we're just talking about VPN over here. We're talking about anything that comes under this title. And this can get very broad at some level, but we're going to try to make it more focused towards entry-level stuff. And we're not going to go into very technical stuff in the beginning, because like I said, maybe this session 1, and I name it session 1 for a reason. If you guys can check this right here. I name it this way because I want it to be a community type of training. So let's say, for example, I did a session 1 and we got an idea of what do we want to cover. And that started to click in with a lot of people. Then KevTech has his own channel too. He may create a session 2 or maybe a tiny baby videos, with these remote type of videos. So we can make one playlist and add into it. So this will become a community effort. Or maybe you are brand new to IT and you learn something brand new at your job, and you bring in that knowledge to these type of sessions. So this will become at the end a very, very powerful type of training, because it's going to hit so many areas. So I have 2 things I want to request from people. So first, be patient with us. Second, if we get out of the way, forgive us, because this is a live training and it's going to probably go left or right. We don't know yet. So we have done many, many live trainings, but we haven't done it with the open community yet. So there's going to be awesome information. So let's get started. So number 1, I want to basically do this. Before I start, I want to do a quick 5-second intro. My name is this. This is my title, and this is why I'm here. 3 things. Because I want to see how many people are listening. So this will basically become more interactive with the people who are online listening, so they can feel more about you. So let's start with first with KevTech, since he's been involved in this so much. So KevTech, 3 things: your title, why are you here, and that. Just 3 things, 3 basic things.
Sure, why not? Yeah. How you guys doing? Good morning. Hope you guys are having a great day. I am an IT executive support. I do level 2 support. Basically, today's session is going to be more about teaching people how to get into IT, learning the common basic stuff. If you're trying to get a job in IT, And that's it. That's pretty much it. And we're trying to help everyone in the community. And that's a little bit about myself.
Awesome. Hadi, go ahead and do you want to get in just quick title stuff?
Sure. Hello, guys. My name is Hadi. I'm a threat hunter for AWS. Basically, I just look for threats. It's a lot of manual work. I'm just here to support Danish. He's been my friend for over 12 years now. And yep, that's it.
Go ahead and Haroon, are you there?
Hello, yeah, this is Sohaib Harun. I work as network engineer, and we're going to discuss about how to penetrate into your local network while sitting at your home. It's like we are on lockdown, and we need to get access to our whole office network. We're going to learn about that as well.
All right. Go ahead, Vlad. Intro.
Hello, everybody. My name is Vlad, and yeah, I'm looking for work, and I wanna find a work as a system administrator, but just in the future. But for now, maybe something like an IT support. So that's why I'm joining the session to have some knowledge about like remote skills.
So people who are listening to us on live and they're watching this in recording, we have a mixture of people who are technical, who are getting in, who are actually starting in their first day of job too. We'll get that. Eddie, are you there?
Yes. Hi. My name's Eddie Martinez, and I'm a student of Danish. I'm looking for an entry-level help desk position.
All right, cool. So we got Kumail. Kumail, are you there? I'm not sure if you're on the mic or not.
He's texting me. He's there. He wants to talk.
Okay, Kumail, once you get the mic, go ahead and grab the mic. Anybody else out there? Because I don't know the rest of the Jerry. Anybody? So Kumail, if you're there, you can unmute yourself, and if not, we can just move on to other people. I think Kitty is also there, but I'm not sure if they're going to be on the mic. But anybody can just grab the mic for a quick second right now.
Yeah, I think somebody in chat said yes. It was Kumail. I think he's trying to figure out how to turn on his.
Okay. All right, cool. So I think what we're gonna do, we can also come back and then ask for more intros, but we can do this later on as well too in the middle.
He said his mic's not working, so all right.
Okay, that's fine. So okay, now let's get started because we don't want to waste too much time over here. We want to get into this and why this session. The first thing we should be asking, why are we even investing our energy on this session? So I'm gonna go to Snagit. I put a little note about it. So if you go to the jobs right now, and I like to get so real with this thing, like real world descriptions. So if you look at this description, people are gonna put stuff like, you will be providing remote support through our office, right? So as soon as they put that remote in there, they're looking for that remote skills. And if you go more into other titles right now, let's go ahead to another one. And there you go, you got another one, knowledge about remote desktop application like Boomgar, Demware, and then you have many other ones that's just they're putting a bracket right there, right? You don't have to know about this specific application. And from this training, our goal is not to teach you what is these type of applications. We're going to show you 2 or 3 different examples, and we're going to talk about what we use, but it's not like we're going to have to teach you every single application in any training. Nobody does that, right? You just need to understand 1 or 2 pretty good, and you can basically, when you go to the interviews, when you talk about it, they understand it, they're respected. Just like when you talk about, I know about Office 365, then a lot of people respect that, even if people are using a different type of emails, even they may be using Exchange, in-house servers or something else, then they respect that. So you can see why we're doing this training again, because it's in the description and people are putting specific things like RDP, connectivity issues, virtual private network, VPN. So think about it. If you're going to go for the job, then they're going to ask you these questions. So don't think that they're not going to ask you something like this. Now, why should you know about this? Because if you know about it, you're better than the person who's straight coming from a CompTIA A+ certification, or let's say a college degree, and never touched these things in a real world situation. So this training is designed for you to cover and tackle these descriptions out there, just like all of our trainings are designed, by the way, that way. But today we're only talking about specifically remote skills right here. Now, there's a little bit of warnings ahead of the time, because when we remote into machines, most likely people are going to be using some type of networks or domain connected networks, Active Directory, stuff like that. We're not going to cover that in this training. Maybe later on we may cover this, and we also have a huge amount of information like live training on Active Directory, free ones, live full course on Active Directory. So I will highly recommend after this training, if you feel like a little struggling with this training and you don't understand some of the concepts, so I would highly recommend that you go back to our Active Directory type of training, or you can send us a message that which training should I take first to get this type of knowledge, like nail it down kind of thing, right? But even though we're not going to cover that, we're going to explain it in such a way that you're going to understand this stuff. At least you can now, after this, know that, okay, if I put this on my resume like this, I'll show you an example. If you guys are going to be taking our template or any other resume, and you're going to be putting something like tier one level troubleshooting, that includes everything. And then specifically, if you're pointing out to people that I know about remote and shadowing, when you connect on a machine with somebody, and you're using, let's say, Zoom, or you're using, let's say, a VPN, or you're using like Zuho Assist or SCCM, then you got to come with some kind of counter answers. You got to defend yourself. So this is what we're doing in these trainings to make you aware of these things, combining with other people's knowledge. And then this is where you're going to go out there and basically you're going to go in for these jobs. And that's where a lot of people have confusion, right? What they're putting 2 years of experience. I don't have 2 years of experience. And we also talk about that in our last video, that don't care about that kind of stuff. As soon as, if you go there and you can sell yourself, if you can talk about these skills, they cut down that 2 years of experience, because now you are talking to them in NIT terms. You're talking to them something that they like to hear. And that's where they let go of that experience side of it, because you have something different going on. You're not just going out with a paper and say, oh, I just did my certification, but they ask you, do you know anything about remote stuff? And you're like, I didn't do that, but I'll learn. That's a good answer too. I will learn. But there are too many people that want to learn these days. Everybody's getting into IT. So you got to be different. And I'll be honest to you guys. Right now, you got to be a little unique than the normal people that are just going for these jobs right now. So another reason we did this session is because, let me go back to the other reason we are doing this session is because of the tickets that are getting bombarded right now. Nobody was used to this type of tickets, because we were prepared. Yes, as an IT professional, this is our job to go out there and create a system and then make it available for, let's say, 20 people or 50 people, or maybe 10 people, or maybe someone in India or someone in Pakistan or somebody in Australia. We did that. But the problem is that nobody was prepared for the coronavirus type of situation, that a company is on lockdown and now you need to go back to your homes, and now you're struggling with some of the things that you never thought of, right? So all these tickets that are coming to us, and we will share all these tickets at the end to just show you the reality of what we are dealing with. So the training is going to basically, we're going to turn this training into more specific type of issues. Like, okay, this is what we're having. This is the issues that we're having. So our target is always what? Remote IT skills. So we're not going to go left and right too much. We're going to always focus on the remote skills, anything that includes in this domain. And then of course, later on, we can go forward with it. So what I would like to do in this right now is, first, I am going to bring in some of the, professionals who are already working in the company, and basically they're going to tell you what kind of system they're using, how it's set up. And we're not going to get into technical stuff, but we're going to give you like an image right now. We're going to give you some mental image that this is the setup and this is what they're dealing with. Then I will start with KevTech first, because he has a lot of knowledge in this area. Then I will start, and then I will give it to Haroon. So that's 3 different professionals. And then I will do like hey, anybody else out there who know about remote stuff? So this way, first we'll define everything, like different companies are using different systems. And then we're going to do a technical demo of a hardware-based kind of like a system. We're not going to actually create everything from scratch. We're just going to show you how things are, like basically showing you a feeling of it. And then we're going to create a software-defined VPN type of network on a cloud and try to connect things, so it gives you more, at the end, a practical approach that, okay, this is what we were talking about. So I hope this is going to be a really good training. So just keep watching it. And if you guys have any question on YouTube, make sure you drop it down. But again, for YouTube people, go back to the community section and join in this session if you really want to talk to us. There's a link out there. So KevTech, do you want to take over with what kind of setup do you have? What kind of issues you're dealing with right now? What kind of applications you're using without getting into too much of like setup or details about technical stuff, like just overall.
Thank you, Danish, for introducing me here on this video. So we have a lot of issues, a lot of different kinds of issues. I actually have a Word document of everything. So I'm just going to talk to you and tell you what exactly we're having. So
okay. Let me stop sharing my screen so you can take over.
All right, give me a second. So you're actually going to be real scared when you see all this. So yeah, so we have a lot of issues with IT. So basically there are like VPN issues. People are getting locked out of their account. Actually, people are having issues where they can't change their password remotely. They don't know how to change their password. Remote issues where people can't connect to their computer from their house to the office because it's a DNS issue or the computer is not on. Stuff like that, like little things like that. Also, things like password lockout. You know, sometimes when you change your password, people don't know this, but when you change your password, it actually gets stored in Credentials Manager in Control Panel. So if you might have to go and clear that out first before you have them change their password, because it gets stored in there. When they get these random prompts where Outlook pops up, they put their password in, Outlook pops up again, they put their password and they get locked out again after that because, you know, they didn't, it's not synced in the system. So they have to go to Credential Manager and remove it. So other issues are like share drive issues, like the drive is no longer available because they're not on VPN or the drive has been changed or removed or something like that. Other issues is two-factor authentication. They don't know how to add dual or you know, there's RSA and there's all these other applications that they use for like authenticating with Citrix, connecting with the environment of IT, basically connecting with the company stuff. So you have to teach them how to actually add dual on their phone, on their iPhone, their Android. Walk them through it step by step, putting their number in and everything. Another issue we have is actually like same thing, company email, how to add email to MDM, basically mobile device management. Some people use Mobile Iron, some people use Mouse 360. Some companies use company Intunes, Azure. Another issue we're having is actually imaging laptops. We cannot image laptops because we're not on site, so we can't image laptops. So that's a really, really big problem. So what we're doing is, as an alternative, we're having to use Citrix and remote into a VDI. And we're actually running out of VDIs because of that, because everyone's trying to use VDI. So another issue we're having is an overflow of VPN. So because we have so many people connected to VPN, there's a slight lag with VPN, which means it takes forever for them to open Excel, Word, PowerPoint. Outlook takes forever to open. Share drives don't want to open, just slowness in general with just VPN, because VPN, you know, when you have so many people trying to use VPN, you have these issues where you have to create another server or create another network route, you know, just add extra stuff in IT just for you to actually have VPN to work. So common issues like, you know, your typical issues where Outlook's not working, Excel's not working, you know, they have add-ons, you know, you may want to open it in safe mode, Outlook's not syncing because of VPN, you know, little things like that. Other issues also would be like Skype or Zoom training. So some people don't know how to use Skype. Some people don't know how to use Zoom. Like people that are not tech savvy, they don't understand what video conferencing is. They don't understand what a dial-in is. They don't understand how to do a video on their laptop or their computer. So I have to like sit with them one-on-one and train them how to use that through video or through a phone call, basically, and train them how to use that, because, you know, we're not touching each other and, you know, we're working remotely. So you have to teach people how to use these things. They're trying to have a meeting, a virtual meeting, basically. Other issues, sorry.
Now, let me ask you a few questions in this, because I think if that's not added into this document, I think we're going to use this document for most of, if there's something that's added, right, from other people. So maybe if you can take a note with yourself, or I can also take a notes, and then we can add it as a full one document rather than two documents, right?
Yep.
Because you already have a pretty neat document right there.
Yeah.
So have you also kind of like, you know, came across that, okay, we got to order a lot of laptops now. We were not prepared for that kind of, you know, going out, anything like that?
Yeah. So if you go, because in my document all the way in the bottom, it actually has it. So,
okay.
So we have.
So let you finish all the document, and then we can.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry about that. Yep. Go ahead. So documentation is, you know, another thing about working remotely is having documentation for users, just to educate clients and users how to use VPN, how to use Dual, just how to use the applications in the environment. So instead of repeating the same thing over and over again, we actually create a document on how to use it. And then we send it over to the user or the client. So then they don't have to call us. So we reduce the phone calls that way by having documentation, basically, if that makes sense. Through like, obviously, like, you know, like just creating Word documents and send them how to use, tell them how to use VPN, tell them how to use Citrix and all that good stuff. Other issues is like what you were talking about, there's a high influx of laptops. So basically we are running out of laptops and people are running out of laptops. We don't have anyone that has a home setup. So they're asking for keyboards, asking for mouses, they're asking for monitors, they're asking for a bunch of IT equipment, which we don't have. So we're on back order right now. So we have to give everyone a bunch of workarounds, basically, just because we don't have those laptops or computers. So we're actually, our laptops are out of stock. So we order from Dell and HP is out of stock. We have to wait till next month to get all that equipment. So for the time being, they're using their personal laptop and connecting with Citrix and, you know, using VDIs and stuff like that. Obviously, other issues with Citrix is like you have to publish applications. If you have a Zen app server, if people want access to certain things on Citrix, you have to enable that in the back end. Some people don't know what Citrix Workspace is. You have to download Citrix Workspace on the computer. Otherwise, Citrix doesn't work at all whatsoever. You have to tell it on Windows 10 to open with ICA, which is the ICA files associated with Citrix. Other issues is with basically using remote session applications. So some people don't know what BombGuard is. Some people don't know what LogMeIn is. Some people don't know what GoToAssist is. Some people don't know what Dameware is. You know, you basically, you have a bunch of new hires in IT, or you have people in IT in general that don't know how to do remote sessions with people. And then users get frustrated because you can't see their screen, and you know, they get frustrated, you get frustrated, and you guys can't share each other's screens and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on right now remotely. So there's a basic stuff of everything. I mean, I could go more in depth, but I'm not going to.
Right now, what we want to do is we want to just talk about the issue. That's good enough to start that. Okay, these are the problems that we're having, and then we're gonna basically try to see how do we learn these things, right? As a new professional who are sitting here, they're gonna probably want to know, okay, you guys are talking about all these issues, but where do I, how would I learn this? Do I really need to just jump in and somebody will just show me this stuff, or I'll just, or I need to learn it somewhere? So we're gonna get into that little bit step by step, while we also want to get in more other people into it to see what they are going across and what they're experiencing. So maybe I can bring in Haroon. Are you there? Like, are you experiencing stuff like this? What kind of things are you guys? Because I know you're a network engineer, so you may be experiencing different stuff, or is this the same stuff?
Basically, we are on lockdown. So the basic stuff is we cannot purchase the laptops right now. We're short of laptops. End user needs laptop to operate from homes. And apart from that, they need wireless devices to get connected to internet. So the basic issue is the devices and the laptop itself. Apart from that, they're not technology aware. They need to get aware of technology as well. First of all, they don't know about the VPNs. We need to educate them about the virtual private network, because they are penetrating into our office network via internet. The communication needs to be secure as well. We cannot just let them in without any security.
Now, just 1 second here, Haroon. Now, was this because your company was so much into office type of work? I know Haroon is from Pakistan, by the way. So there got to be differences between how people are working, because some countries are very much, okay, you got to come to the office to work. And in the US, it's like a 40-50. And depending in the US, there are some companies that are also not prepared for VPN. I'm not just saying that US is prepared. We're totally not prepared, to be honest. We are living in the US, but a lot of people think we may be prepared, but we're not prepared at all. So is this because your company was so much into that, okay, you guys need to come here to do your job? Now they're have this emergency going on, and that's where you're saying that they need to learn all these things? Or was this something that, how is it working in your area?
Yeah, basically the employees were asked to operate from office. Yeah, they need to come to the premises and operate from there. Now, in a matter of like 5 days, we purchased 150 laptops, and then we needed to educate 150 people to operate from their homes. Was a very hectic task. First of all, they need to know how to operate the basic laptop, right? And get that stable internet connection. If they do not have that stable internet connection, they cannot connect to the VPN itself. But like So first of all, we needed to educate them to operate from their homes. Apart from that, we needed a stable firewall at our office to get the secure traffic and all and authenticate the users to get into our office premises, right?
Okay.
So firewall, we have deployed Fortinet firewall
Okay.
that is authenticating the users to penetrate into the local area network.
Got it.
And yeah, so
So
basically the
these are
end
the
users,
challenges
yeah.
you're basically facing as a network engineer. Now, do you have staff members with you, like a help desk or something, or you're just a one-man IT show right here?
No, we have a team of 5 people, like who's looking after this. We have IT support, we have network support, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Then
Okay.
we have application level support. That's the other team. So like we have different teams working on all the applications and enabling users to get connected to the network.
Mhm. And guys, one thing I noticed in this emergency situation is that it doesn't matter if you're a sysadmin, it doesn't matter if you're a security
Yeah.
guy, it doesn't matter if you're a network engineer. The focus for a company right now is what? The first level issues that we're having right now. So everybody is all hands on right now in most of the companies. So even if I'm a sysadmin and they will give me something, maybe I'll need to deploy a server very quickly to do something for my help desk guys, but the focus is the first issues that people are having. A CEO cannot connect. CEO doesn't know how to do RDP at late time. Maybe I'm available, I'm doing a work. So then my job is going to be to go ahead and help him out. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to call my help desk at nighttime. Hey, wake up. This is your call, right? We're not going to do that. So this is the teamwork that's happening right now. That's another thing that I wanted to talk about, that how important it is in this career, that we have to, an emergency time, we have to work together. Now, Kev, thank you. Harun, thank you. Hadi, do you want to add something from your end? Because I know you have more AWS type of thing going on in your company. It's a little different thing for you guys. So how's your company dealing with this stuff?
Yeah, so it's interesting how the cloud is actually listening to all you guys and watching, Kevin's document and just comparing how advanced cloud is. Actually, it's so much better than, in my opinion, for redundancy and disaster recovery scenarios. One of the things, so in our environment, it's mainly a developer environment. So everybody has their own laptops from the get-go. They have laptops. Nobody has desktop. I don't think anybody does. So that was the one thing they had in mind, because they knew nothing is on the on-prem, everything's on the cloud. So we're going to give them laptops, and they're pretty high-end Mac laptops, like really expensive. They spend money on it. So
did you say Mac?
Yeah.
All right, Kumail, I'm out.
Why?
Just kidding.
So they have those, and so one of the issues we face, especially me being a security guy, so a lot of users tend to be in the office. So the way AWS work is it knows your IP addresses, it knows your network routing and everything that's coming in. So when everybody started going remote, I started getting alerts from, there's a product in AWS called Guard Duty. Basically, it monitors for improper access, or if there's a port scan, anything. If you're in the environment and you don't have the proper access, it will notify you. That thing started going off like left and right. So I spent quite an amount of time, even though our office is not that big. In the office, we have probably around 60 people. But the amount of users were coming in, because first they will log in with their regular internet connection, then they would use that VPN. Both of them will give you 2 different IP addresses, and both of them will get flagged. And so just trying to figure out which one is a false positive and which one is not. That was a pretty interesting process, because right now, the way the cloud works, you already know Azure works the same way. You constantly have new services coming in every week or month or whatever. So right now, we heavily rely on third-party tools like Palo Alto, SolarWinds, and things like that. So we use their products to monitor traffic coming into the AWS network. So now, when we see an alert, when I saw an alert in AWS, I would have to do more investigation through different products, such as Palo Alto products and things like that, just to make sure those connections are pretty good. Now, a couple months ago, we were getting probe scans from Iran and China, you guys know, because that was when the initial coronavirus started. But they was just on the surface. They were trying to scan the public-facing load balancers. It was pretty common. But eventually one of the hackers or whatever, the suspicious IPs, they masked their IP address and they were coming locally. So it was very hard to determine the whole process of when did he do that and how far he got into their environment. So just to be able to set alerts to automate the process of, okay, this is the IP address for this user and they're going to be on this for this long and things like that. So that was pretty interesting process. But then came down to VPN, NIH. I work for, my clients are NIH, National Institute of Health. They mandate that, okay, if you're going to be using this product, you have to be on VPN or something like that. Now, a lot of times the VPN, like you guys mentioned, when everybody started going in, it's called a bottleneck thing where the whole thing's coming in just and narrowing into a small hole. That slowed down a lot of processes. So people started getting off of VPN and they started accessing more services, which was a security concern, but the director, the ISO, gave a little bit of permission, like, okay, if you're having a problem with speed and all that, you can get rid of the VPN. But also you got to remember the services they're using in Amazon, they're also encrypted by default, and we have all encryptions involved. So it wasn't a big deal that they were coming into cloud without any VPN and things like that. So that's another thing.
I think I lost his voice.
Somebody muted me.
Okay.
Okay. Going back to my previous job.
Kev don't like you. He muted you.
Going back to my previous job, everything was physical servers, right? On that part, we made sure, since it was Nuclear Regulatory Commission, so it was nationwide, and we had to deal with every nuclear agency in the world. So we actually made sure to be ready for disasters, right? You're dealing with nuclear energy, things like that. So we made sure everything was had a redundant server. Everything was pretty much ready for any disaster, right? We have hot sites, we had a warm site, we had cold sites around the world, mainly in the United States. So that was pretty interesting because I think 2011 we had an earthquake in the East Coast and it was pretty bad. Everybody just went home, and that was another big wake.
But is this common in a security type of companies, right? Who are doing this kind of setup? They're mostly remote, most likely, right? I think Kumail, do you have a mic on right now?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Kumail, give us your experience on this. Well, I mean, I know you also has a lot of security side of it. And first, tell us about your title and see what kind of experience you can bring into this. And tell us what do you have?
Yeah, so my name is Kumail Khas. I'm a senior security analyst at Department of Commerce. We manage about 4,500 people and about 3,500 endpoints or so, a little bit more than that. So 10 years ago, I was actually on this contract working as a junior security analyst. And this is the type of stuff that we were planning at that time. We said, hey, what happens when disaster recovery goes on? What happens when, there's an earthquake? We didn't know anything about a pandemic or anything like that, but what do you do, right? So we pitched to them that, hey, this is what type of colos you're going to set up, co-locations. If your main Active Directory server goes down, where is it going to bounce back and come back alive somewhere else, right? Where are the backups being done? How often? And it gets a little bit more detailed and complicated because you can't just say, hey, we're going to do this. You actually have to set up processes in play to say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to test the integrity of all this. And it's a lot of work. But once you're prepared for that, it's really cool because right now, I think in the government sector, I would say one of the pioneers of going to the cloud, and we're like 95% cloud-based at this point.
Wow. That was not my kind of thinking about government being that much like they're thinking ahead of time. And I mean, I would think maybe government is still using so many old systems and they'll be struggling right now, but okay.
They are. Yeah. So we worked on this for a long time and we were able to convince like the big government folks to actually start moving away from some of this old way of thinking, right? So it's pretty cool because now that we are in lockdown and quarantine, most people have the option to telework from home. And we've already stress tested our VPN solutions like months to years ago, right? So we're not even worried about it breaking down on our end. If the carrier or the service provider end breaks down, all right, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But we're pretty safe. Now, I will say that from my experience working in customer support, you know, some of the stuff that we were talking about today, the list that I think that Kev provided is fantastic. And I'll tell you, one of the first things that usually happens in a situation like this is what just happened to me today. I logged into this computer and I said, hey, I'm going to get on this call last minute and talk to people. And what happened? My video doesn't work. My mic doesn't work. Now, you have to think outside the box a little bit and say, hey, how can I get operating at this time so you can make the meeting? I could have sat there and tried to troubleshoot my mic, my video or whatever, but I said, hey, I need to be on this call right now. So what's the alternative here? I popped up on my phone. Hey, video works there, audio works there. Let's get on there. And you'll see that a lot in like customer support stuff. We're not seeing a lot of like technical high level stuff, but it's more like, hey, I got this call in 4 minutes. I need you to help me get on. What do I do? So
that's an awesome point that you bring right here, that, okay, what can I do to actually fix it right now? And then later on, I can do more of troubleshootings because, and specifically currently in this situation when people are working from home, they're already confused. They already don't know a lot of things, like Harun mentioned, that they don't have the knowledge of VPN that much. So it's more like you're going to be out there to really help them out quickly. And then you can come back and do your techie stuff later on, work on that. That's a very good point right there. And I think Kevin also mentioned that in one of his videos, he was testing people to, he was talking about some kind of print example, and I was listening to it and I was laughing. I'm like, that's exactly what people should do. And people were giving him answer. I should go in there. I should unplug the printer. I should plug it back again and everything. And I was like laughing. I'm like, and then he was like, no, you got to print it out and give it to a user. So I don't want to take that away from Kev, but that was a great example, Kevin. And you too, that's amazing. But are you guys helping with your customer service or level 1 people right now? Or are you guys like hands-on, or it's just like you are straight up pretty big companies and pretty big environment and you just get a ticket, which is your part of your job as a security?
Yeah, so our service desk department is about 30 people strong. So they have that on lock. When it comes to us is when it gets into security issues as far as credentials, or when people are using like multi-factor authentication and that's not working. That's in our domain. We handle that. But even within that, we in our security operations center have tiers. So there's level 1, 2, 3. Level 1 guys or 2 guys usually handle that. If it comes to me, it's a little bit of a bigger situation, and then we have to look a little bit deeper.
All right. Any other suggestions for people? So, hey, well, while you were in security and you spent so much time in security, this is a perfect time because I know people are looking at you like, I want to be like Kumail because this is what I was going to my college for, a security degree. Because, you know, in our thing, we are promoting this to people, and I'll tell you too, maybe we might be wrong. We're telling people if you don't have the fundamentals correctly, even like the help desk type of skills and knowing what departments are what and how to assign calls and knowing the nature of this job, security is an advanced position. You cannot just jump into security because later on, if you're scanning a network, then you need to know the knowledge of network. If you're trying to do something in any type of security, you got to know the knowledge of another person at some level. Let's say you're telling a sysadmin that there's a vulnerability in your server, but the sysadmin may say, oh, that's not a vulnerability. So how would you prove it to him that this is vulnerability? What would you tell these people that they're thinking that I'm just going to go straight to security? What's your take?
You're 100% correct. I see this very often, especially in our hiring process, that we get a lot of people that have just learned security in school, and that's kind of it. So it's not to say that it's not doable. We can teach people, but it's a little bit of a higher learning curve, right? I'm going to give an analogy that I give to most people. It's like American football, right? When you're playing American football, I cannot teach you just how to be a good defensive lineman or a cornerback, right? You have to learn to play the game first. Once you understand all aspects of the game, you can say, all right, I'm really good at this one thing, and I'm going to do that really well. So that's another thing, right? You have to learn the fundamentals. Being in help desk for the long amount of time that I was probably one of the most brutal experiences of my life, but some of the most rewarding experiences, because you get to learn things holistically at the very user end level, and then you see how it trickles all the way to the other end, right? So yeah, I'm 100% with you. Learn the system side, learn the network side, then get into the security side, so you have a round, like holistic idea of what's happening in your environment.
So did you used to travel around the world for your help desk too? So you might have experience around the world, right?
Yeah. I got a pretty cool job. For the past 3.5 years, I was traveling around the world and really riding motorcycles on the side. But
you're in China for too long.
On the work side, I used to kind of go around, and it was a very interesting position because our team was responsible from doing everything from ground up, from very entry level customer support stuff to higher level process flows implementation, to looking at their networks and saying, hey, this is what some of your vulnerabilities are in your network.
I see.
Not just on the technical side, but on a process side. Like, hey, this guy walked into this area without putting his card reader in. You need to reevaluate how you handle physical security, right? All the way down to, hey, when you send out this email, we can help you write macros because you're sending the same email 20 times a day. You can press 2 buttons and it'll do this to automate your process, right? So it was a very interesting job. I got to travel around the world with a whole bunch of people, and we taught people how to do all this.
For definitely for this topic, we're gonna probably bring you back, and I hope you join us again in this platform, because there's a lot of people that want to be like you, and we have tons of people that are sitting here and waiting on you. So I definitely want you. Now, is there any other professional in this live chat? I think there's another, probably, I'm not sure if, I forgot his name, Murad or somebody else. Or is there anybody who's working in IT that can share their knowledge of what's going on right now, or all other our students, so we can then move on to a little bit different areas now? So if there's any, just make sure you unmute yourself and we can talk about it, okay? So, okay, so I feel like maybe there's nobody else. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take over the screen, and now we're gonna go into a little bit of a very, Murad, are you there? Are you in IT, or are you trying to learn this stuff? I don't know. Your mic is mute, by the way.
Hi, everyone. That's Murad.
Murad, how are you?
Good. Thank you, guys. I actually in another field. I started as an IT sysadmin long years ago, but when I came in the US, I am an analyst and engineering analyst. It's kind of lab testing for engineering. So, but okay. I still follow IT in my free time. That's why I came to you guys. I remember some stuff we do 10 years ago, but there is a lot of stuff, new stuff now with the cloud and Azure, and so.
Okay, no problem at all. So the way I'm gonna do this, guys, for a lot of people who are gonna be watching this, a little bit more technical side of this, and this is not to show anything in any formal way. So there gotta be a security things that Kumail talked about. There's a lot of processes that go beyond. But like I say to a lot of people who are brand new, your goal is not to become a master of this stuff. You cannot, and you won't be able to do that. In the beginning, you just need to understand what we're trying to teach you. So we're mentally breaking into this learning, basically. You don't need to worry about how this is done, what terms I'm gonna be using. I will not use anything that's technically, that's gonna throw you off. I'm just gonna basically say some of the things that are extremely non-technical. And then maybe KevTech or other people can make it technical if they want to, but in the beginning, I'm gonna make it very, very simple. Like, okay, this is the environment, and this is when you get a job, what kind of issues are you gonna be dealing with? And then we're gonna do a little demo. So we'll connect a cloud versus a local network and see if we can access that cloud machine, or maybe a staff machine in a cloud system. We're gonna basically make a scenario right here. So let's get started. The first thing I wanna talk about is that there are different type of companies, just like what Hadi explained, all these companies. So let's do a little visualization in this area, and people can also guide me. The people who are in this, they're watching this, they can maybe tell me to, okay, let me draw something or something like that, or whatever. KevTech can take over. Kev, you're free to take over me, okay? Or anytime you feel like, let me take over, let me explain something, you're free to do that, Kev, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is that, in a normal environment, you're basically working in a company that, let's say this is a building right here. So I'll give you one example of one of the clients that I have. So let's say, for example, this is a building and they have a lot of different floors in this building. So this is floor 1, floor 2, and then you have floor 3 right here. So, normally when people are working in an office, they have a full system that is being managed by your IT teams. And in that systems, you have different levels of people working. Just like today, a perfect example, you have security people, you have networking people, you have sysadmins, and you have technical people. They're all sitting together, but none of them are working on every single thing. Everybody has their own jobs, right? But some companies may do mixture of things. So there's no set rules. If this is a server, it has to be scanned and patched. A sysadmin can do it as well if he's allowed to do that, and if that's the culture of that company. But you may be working in a government level jobs like Kumail, where this is security job. This ticket is going to go to Kumail. I'm not touching this. So it comes to me. At least I know what it is. I'm going to give it to Kumail. If Kumail cannot solve it, maybe he'll go to another senior level. But it's like that in the companies. So in a normal business environment, you have a server room or data center, whatever you want to call it. And then to make it short, I'm not going to go to every single thing over here. You have a firewall right there. So we're going to consider this a hardware firewall. So now the hardware firewall, usually we use Cisco. We have other, like, Hadi mentioned one. There are many other type of systems out there that you can be working on. But here's the thing. This is where you should start thinking. This training is not about training you on the products, training you on the technical stuff. It's training about you to mentally open up your mind and think, where can you stop actually? So when you're learning, the major mistakes that a lot of entry-level people are doing, they think I'm going to learn every single thing, or I have to learn every single thing. So in our trainings, what we do is we stop people. We're like, this is your level right here. Don't go above this. Try to master or try to learn more the level that you're going to be working on. So what I'm implying over here is that if this is a hardware, and let's say this is a Cisco ASA firewall, then who's going to configure this? This is going to be either a security engineer, or it's going to be a network engineer with more ASA skills, or a sysadmin who also knows ASA skills. So this is going to be a hardware laying in your company somewhere. Whatever the setup is, it could be above the router, below the router. There's multiple setups, right? They may have multiple ASAs depending on how secure these things are, and they may have remote ASAs out there, but somebody got to configure that, and you are not going to be configuring that. So I'm going to first show you, just to give you a practical example. This is what ASA looks like, right? If you guys are seeing my screen, this is where the ASA. This is connected to the hardware in this system. Right now, this is a system PLAB managed MGT. So right here, now another question may arise. Hey, Danish, you're showing all this stuff. Are we going to be able to actually do this? Of course, this is not going to be free. You have to become a premium member to buy this type of access. And this is everything. Like on the left side, I can configure the whole ASA in front of you guys, but that's not a part of this training. The part of this training is to show you how to connect to things easily as a help desk, and then talk about the issues. But here, if I'm an engineer, let's say I assign this call to Haroon or Kumail. Both of them are security level people. Whoever got the ASA knowledge will be getting this call to configure this ASA for my company. Now, Kumail have already done it. Now, Haroon is doing probably, they already have this, but Haroon is probably enabling it for remote users, so then they can connect to their systems internally by using a virtual private network VPN. Right? So this is like a system. So like I said, I'm not going to go into any details. So let's say there's a client, there's a server or a hardware, that client connects to that hardware, and now you're inside the company. So when we say that inside the company, what does that mean? A person may have a laptop docked on their in their office, a desktop, or a local printers, or whatever is their scanners. There are check scanners these days. There are local cameras that are not allowed for you to be accessible from outside. So somebody got to VPN. And when we say that you VPN into a business environment, they have to use certain type of products like this. There are consumer and there are home-based VPNs. We're not talking about that. Those are the VPNs that are almost similar, but you have to buy a license from a company, and your traffic goes towards that company. So you're taking, another thing is, a lot of people talk about how secure is VPN. VPN is very secure, but then how ethical is that company that giving you that access, right? You're going through their network, you're going through their DNS, everything is going through them. So they can sell your data to somebody else. And that's what happened, I think, a few months ago. I'm not sure if Kumail knows about it or any of the security guys. A few months ago, a company sold some of the data to another company. And that was a big deal because now people are saying, hey, we trusted you because you were using your VPN. How did you sell our data? So you got to also then understand that why companies go for the hardware.
It was Nordic.
What was that, sorry?
Nordic VPN.
Nordic VPN, there you go. So you got to go with the hardware solutions like this, and you need engineers for this to do this. And now this is where another piece of information that I want to share, that if you're seeing my screen right now, and if I have to deploy a VPN solution to my company, first of all, what do I need to know? I need to know about this hardware. I need to know about ASA. I need to know about Cisco. How did I get into this stuff? What is this information in front of me? Then this is where the bigger problems for a new IT professional will come in. How can I understand this stuff? Because I know this is GUI. I understand this. I'm going to go to Wizard right now in front of you guys. I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on VPN Wizard. Oh, awesome. This is so easy, right? I'm just going to click on AnyConnect VPN Wizard. And now you're saying, okay, that's next. I can just click on next. Naming is perfectly fine. I'll just name it AnyConnect, right? I'm just doing a little small lab for understanding, not actually completing this. So I'm going to click next. Okay, this is where the problems start right here. Okay, first of all, you need to know about SSL, IPsec. What the hell is this stuff? Like if you are looking at this stuff as a new entry-level professional, and this is where we say that stop, this is not what you need to learn, because this is what engineer needs to learn. And that's where when I said that I do not recommend security jobs right from the get-go, right after you have not even touched the systems, you don't have no clue how things are working in companies. This is where it's going to give you a painful time when you have no clue of what is certificate. How do I create a certificate? Can I create a self-signed certificate? What is the disadvantage of that? Can I use it outside? So all that stuff, if I'm clicking on add right now, and how do I understand all these key pairs? And then I add a certificate. Of course, you cannot just blindly do all these things, right? You got to understand this, because as soon as you do this stuff, and if you do it improperly, this means you can even open a door to the whole public, meaning the whole net internet, to your company. And to be honest, it's not that hard for people to find out that your VPN is open like that. There is tons of scans happening on your network. Currently, as I speak, there's like hundreds of scans. Kumail can verify that for me. Every single environment, every single network is getting scanned somewhere, right? So I'm not sure if you guys can add more to this. I'm not sure about it, but
100% agree, Danish. This is actually the easiest way people, hackers, or as we call them, bad guys, get into your environment. There's very cheap, sometimes even free software that you can buy, or you can ask other people to do for you, which is literally just scan ranges of IPs or a whole bunch of websites. And literally all it does is scans against a big database of known vulnerabilities and sees if you have them. And it's like a numbers game, right? Eventually, somebody's going to get hit. And if that's you, and if you set up your VPN solution incorrectly, that's going to be you one day, you know?
So this is why we basically talk about this, that the reason I wanted to show and touch this system, Kumail and Hadi, for people to understand that this is what I'm doing right now is not something that can be done blindly, right? You cannot just watch a YouTube video or my training for 30 minutes and then understand that, look, I can set up AnyConnect. Fine, I'll do it just like Danish, and I'll do exactly the same thing. But Danish did it in the lab, right? And if I did it in the lab, I have opened so many things. I have not considered anything backups. I have not considered any other security measures. I have not considered to, run a patch on this ASA. I have not considered anything. So this is an example that I wanted to show that you cannot do this kind of learning. If you wanted to learn, you have to go back to the full lab. Like I said, if you want to become a proper, engineer and learning this stuff, you got to do the whole lab then, which is not, I'm just showing you one lab at the end to just open up ASA, but there's tons of other things that's going on for you to understand that. So where can a lot of people say, okay, if I want to learn about this stuff, where would I learn it, right? So this is something, of course, people need to then invest into trainings, right? I'll say mentorship trainings. And there are many, many different platforms available out there. Now, our platform is the only one that's bringing two big platforms together in one membership. And that's very crazy stuff because both are competitor, like Practice Lab and testout.com. So testout.com is right here. So if you look at it, if I'm talking about this stuff, it needs more theoretical understanding. It needs more, video understanding. It needs more practical understanding. So for you to understand all this stuff, you got to know from the base. And that's what we're teaching people. So right now, if you are thinking that, okay, this is the advanced stuff, I like it, but later on, I want to learn it. So that's something that we covered in our trainings, but you got to go from the scratch, right? So now let's move on to more of a technical side of where Kev already showed a lot of things. So Kev, if I want you to come onto the camera, and I'll say that, what are some specific things immediately people should start learning as a new IT professional? Like, can you show some examples, or can you give us a little more guidance on that?
Yeah, so it's just for like level 1 stuff. It's basically all like your common Outlook issues, like issues with Outlook, issues with Excel, little miscellaneous things like my account is locked out. It's just like level 1 stuff. My account is locked out. I need to reset. I need to help someone reset their password. Some people don't know how to reset their password. You'd be surprised. They don't know what Control-Alt-Delete means.
So I have seen a lot of help desk call about a password getting expired. Nobody did it on the right time, and that's becoming a very challenging for a lot of people because Mac has a different way to reset. But first of all, resetting an expired password is actually not an easy thing. You have to actually set up some things for people to do that, right?
That is absolutely correct. So with us in our environment, we have SecureDoc. So I don't know if anyone knows what that is. SecureDoc is a hard drive encryption program. Okay. So you have to change your password 2 times in a row. So you have to change it on Windows login screen, and then you have to change it on the hard drive encryption software. So if your password is in sync with both of them, then the user restarts the computer or shuts off the computer, they get prompted with the SecureDoc login logo or screen because it's a security thing. So if someone were to steal the laptop, they can't do anything with it. The only person that can log in is just them or me, basically, IT guy. So you have to make sure that the password syncs with SecureDoc and also with the Windows login screen. How do you do that? You do that through VPN. And also actually the software itself has like, like backdoors to it using some sort of AES encryption keys and stuff like that. And you can go, I'll go in depth in that, but basically you have to make sure that it's sync on both, the software and also the Windows login screen. You have to make sure. Then what I do is I have them sync the password on that, have them sync it on SecureDoc, and then I have them fully shut down the laptop and then have them log in again to make sure they could actually log in with that new password. And then there's like
now in your company, do you guys use like a feature like Okta or something like that that is like more web-based, where people log in and do that, or just this is the only solution that you guys have for a lot of people?
So this is the only solution we have because this is a company issue laptop. So the company issue laptop, when we image it through SSCM or through Avanti, basically it comes prepackaged on the computer. So then when you have someone that needs to change their password, it becomes kind of problematic because they get the notification, but obviously people don't want to change their passwords. No one wants to change their passwords. So same thing goes with doing Windows updates. Same thing goes with shutting off your computer. No one wants to shut off their computer. They have the computer on for 45 days or 60 days or 80 days or 90 days. And then when you tell them to restart their computer, and they're like, why my computer is so slow? They have like a memory leak on their computer. And then, basically that means that the memory is all messed up because they haven't restarted in such a long time. So then they have to restart the computer. So all these updates come in and the computer run faster after that. Going back into this thing is that you have to make sure that you remind a client or user to reset their password and actually walk them through it. Especially now, it's a lot harder now because you actually have to go on the phone and talk to them and make a call.
And they're using a RDP from a laptop, or they're using an RDP from a Mac, right? And then they need to know specific keys on the keyboard as well, because it's not the same Alt Control Delete, because that's going to happen on your local machine, right?
Yeah, exactly. So some people are not tech savvy at all. So as a workaround, I make them use webmail, and you could change your password on webmail. So if you go to the webmail application and I tell them to change it there, and basically when they change it there, it actually our infrastructure.
Oh, I see, because you're using an internal exchange. That makes it easy.
Yeah. So our infrastructure is actually very stable. So like if you change your password on webmail, it actually it'll prompt you immediately on your computer to change it there too as well. So it's very, the infrastructure is stable. So this is another thing about working in IT is having a good understanding of your infrastructure, but also having a stable infrastructure. Because someone asked me this question before, like, how many calls do you get in a day now that you're working remotely? And the thing is that it depends on your infrastructure. If you have a solid infrastructure, nothing breaks all the time, and VPN is working, all these other applications are working, and you have good system admins, you have good network admins, you have all this stuff that works in the background, that there's no issues, then you'll probably get like maybe 5 or 6 phone calls. You won't get a lot of phone calls.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you have a bad system or bad infrastructure, you're gonna have issues where someone can't send an email, VPN is not working, things keep disconnecting for no reason. Then you get like 100, 200, 300 phone calls. And I have about 4,000 employees that I work with. So it's not just 10 people or 20 people, it's 4,000 people that I work with. And it's not just the United States. I work with Japan, I work with South America, I work with Europe and London and Ireland and a few other countries. And
so you guys go through a lot of different clients with a lot of different devices, because that's a challenge again. And that's another challenge that, and again, we don't want to also promote this, that you for new people that, oh my God, 4,000 people, I got to learn all that stuff. No, we don't want to scare people. You don't need to learn like that. Like I said in the beginning, you got to learn the way how things working, and know where you can stop yourself in the beginning. You will help yourself, because if you know that I'm not going to become a master, or I'm not going to become an experienced tech like Kumail or Kev or anybody like right now immediately. They have learned all of this stuff from, to be honest, everybody have learned this from scratch. We all struggle. Nobody was born with technical knowledge, like, they're just boom, just sit on this chair and I have 6,000 people, I can manage them. This stuff, I want to give this idea to people also, that do not take this training as in like, oh, no, this is too much for me, right? That's where we're going right now. That this is not what you're going to learn right now immediately, but you need to understand this stuff, right? That's why we're doing this training.
And that's what it is that a lot of people think that they can't learn this. They can. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can learn this. It's just the thing is that you have to understand that I have a way of learning, and like I'm hands-on. Someone else is good at reading a book and they learn it immediately. Everyone's way of learning is different. So my learning is probably a lot faster for me. It might be a lot slower for other people. It depends on the person, depends how quickly you obtain information, and everyone has their own way of doing it. So you can learn.
What do you suggest? What do you think? What's the best way of learning IT stuff?
Learning IT stuff is usually, I tell people to make labs at home and also write down stuff. Like if you write, it actually stays stuck in your head. When you write stuff, it stays stuck in your head. It actually gets stuck in your brain when you start writing and doing labs at home. It's a repeat process. You got to keep doing it over and over again.
To be honest, when I do a lot of labs in this practice lab environment, there are half of the things I don't know. Having a person with 13 plus years of experience, half the things I don't know, I'll be honest. It's because those are tiny, minor things, but it doesn't matter, because at some level, I know I have learned this mentality that if I do this 5 times, I know at least the process. Later on, I can learn about the concept behind it, right? That's something I need to open up a book, or maybe open up a video, maybe open some kind of like, educating myself. Basically, that's kind of what I'm saying. But in terms of the practical stuff, you're right. You got to do some of these things again and again to get synced in, and that confidence, you build that confidence when you do these things hands-on. So it becomes a part of your life then. You're like, okay, I know I got to do this hands-on, but I have to also learn on the right side from any other areas.
And that's basically what it is. Just keep doing it over and over again. It's a process. And some people, they learn in like 1 month. Some people learn in 6 months. Some people learn in a year. It depends on the person. Like me, when I did my job, I only got 1 week of training, and then I only got 1 week of training, and then I had to do the job by myself. It depends on the person.
And you learn from the tickets then. That's how you learn it.
Yeah, you learn from doing labs, but also you learn from asking a lot of questions. That's why I tell people don't be shy about asking questions. Ask as many questions as you possibly can when you work in your job environment, because they're not going to be there forever. Sometimes you're going to be left alone. You're going to be expected to do it on your own, and then eventually you're going to have to do it on your own, and there's not going to be anyone around you. You're going to have to figure it out on your own, basically. Not your manager they're not going to be holding your hand the entire time.
Exactly.
Eventually you have to learn some of it, at least not all of it, some of it, and have some sort of understanding of it. That's what it is.
Yeah, I would add something.
Mhm.
If you don't have anybody to ask question to, just make sure you know where the documents are in your environment, like SOPs, because that would also help you out, right? Like sometimes, like Kevin said, you can always ask people, but sometimes they will say, "Oh, go check the document" and things like that. So make sure whatever you are responsible for, you have the documents for that as well, like from the as-built documents to the standard operating processing documents as well. That will help you out. Now, if you still have questions, then yeah, then you can reach out to somebody who's higher up, but definitely know where the documents are and make sure the documents are well written, because if they're not, then that's another problem.
So now, thank you, Hadi. So now if you guys are seeing my screen, can you guys confirm that I'm showing my screen right now?
Yes, we see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically what I was talking about, this is a kind of not a new method, but it's definitely out there. Okta is out there. I'm not promoting Okta, by the way. I do not get paid by Okta, but Okta is there. That's kind of like fighting with Active Directory right now.
I use Okta. We use Okta.
There you go. One person is using Okta. I'm not sure if other people are using something. Just let us know, because it's important. So you can see right now, Okta right here has this ability where you can have this type of environment where, let me just go ahead and open this. Let's say this is an environment and we have an Active Directory server right here. So everybody was basically, let's say, authenticating. Let's say there's a desktop right here. It will authenticate to the Active Directory right here. This is a server. And then you basically have a VPN connection from home. Let's say this is a VPN, and you connect directly from your VPN with your firewall, and then you access, let's say, your local devices. So Okta basically is a cloud-based solution. They're like, okay, why are you guys using this whole method like this? We're going to give you a better method to access your local applications or things like that. So they may, it depends on how advanced you can go with them. There are multiple layers of them, right? So this is a cloud-based solution. And in the cloud-based solution, you basically go to their site. So let's say jobskillshare.okta.com or whatever it is. So then you log into a portal, and then you use your username and password. It authenticates. If you have a local Active Directory, it authenticates to that. And if it says, okay, your password is expired, so it's going to actually show you that your password is expired right there. So it solves an issue. But it creates so many issues internally when people are using on-premises Active Directory. Things doesn't work that smoothly. I have experienced this with 2 different clients, and they are not happy with the way it's getting synced and it's going back and everything. So now people are going to say, hey, okay, don't use Okta. Just use the old way of just go to the AnyConnect and do this and do the script and everything. And it's going to prompt you, or just call us. We're going to reset your password, right? But again, most of the times the issues are like that. That becomes very technical when a password is expired. But most of the time also, it's not expired. It's somebody who are a little scared right now. They're going, and IT department told them that, hey, you guys need to change your password in 20 days because, or we have set up these email alerts. So what we do is we send an email alerts to all of these people. Their passwords are getting expired in 7 days. So in that 7 days, they're going to get 3 more different emails of, guys, this is 3rd day. You're getting this email because you're not. So if they're not complying, of course, that becomes an issue in more of a higher people, right? They can then go talk to them. Why aren't you resetting a password? We're sending you all these emails. You're making more calls for us. So that's more education right there, okay? And for that to change the password, then you need to know how to use RDP basically. And RDP has its own, again, like when you go into the RDP and you connect to the machine, so on the keyboard, there are different methods, then of course you're going to be doing that. Now, we're not going to go to extreme detail of that, kind of like show you every single command in this training. This is not a full training session basically. But this is where I'm asking other YouTubers or KevTech or myself that we're going to create a mini training so that people are not spending 4 hours to find out how to use RDP and how do you change a password in a 4-hour training. We're going to create a baby trainings under this training. How do you reset a password on a Windows desktop? How do you reset a password on a Mac machine? So there are different keys. You got to remember that. So at least if you're listening to this training, you should be able to now, okay, let me turn on my documentation skill. You can go to Google and find out. This will help you first to understand how to troubleshoot things by looking at in the Google without relying on us. But later on, when you come back to these sessions, we're going to have these videos, and we may already have these videos. I'm not sure if Kevin already have videos by the way. Kev, do you have anything like this?
Well, on that note, I have videos on how to change. Like, it's more like level 1 stuff, password reset, Excel issue, Outlook issues, all common level 1 issues. I actually have a 1 hour and 45-minute video on common level 1 issues.
Yeah,
it's everything on level 1.
So that gives us another opportunity to create more videos in this session, Kevin. So we can do that, like small videos to help this playlist in a way that you can make it on your channel, and we'll just add it to our playlist. I mean, we're promoting this to other YouTubers too. We can grab their videos and just add it to our playlist because that's their channel, their video. So it's just going to go to their channel. Okay. So another thing I want to discuss is that it's not about just a company that's just one, like, one building like this. Like, for example, Haroon is probably dealing in an environment like this. And Haroon, you can connect me. You are working with one office, right?
Yeah, we are working at one office. We have one data center.
Okay, and you guys are what solutions are you implementing since you guys are doing it right now? What are you guys doing for your users?
Basically, at end user, you need to be sure that your there's no data leakage at user end. First of all, that's the main thing.
Okay.
So we're using endpoints like Kaspersky to mitigate that effect.
But what about like people getting in from home? Like, what kind of solutions have you implemented, or are you thinking about it?
We're using FortiGate firewall, and we
Okay.
installed 40 client at user end, and that, like, they're authenticated on that 40 client, and they penetrate into our network. Yeah, that's the main
Okay,
thing,
awesome.
right?
So
Through
this
VPN.
is one example right here. Now again, and people already know, and they said this may not be an environment like just one engineer or two engineers working in one company. It could be an MSP, who are the service providers. Like, this is the companies, they are now dealing with multiple small offices, big offices, large enterprise. It depends on how big the MSP is, by the way. So you can't just tell a company that, hey, we're so good at AnyConnect, so let's just use AnyConnect, or we're so good at Citrix, so let's just use Citrix. This company may totally reject that. Like, I don't want Citrix. I'm not used to that kind of stuff, right, Kevin? Like, this MSP has to work with this enterprise, this business. They can give them suggestions, but if they don't like it, they're going to go with the business IT people. So they also have IT people, and they may say, no, why don't you guys just remote into our machines, and we're going to give you SCCM access. And then we call it a jump box, basically. So some people will prefer that. Why? Because they have already designed a solution internally. So when you log into the SCCM as MSP tech, then you basically use a SCCM to connect to other machines, and there's a reason behind it. A big reason is what? A customer service. So I'll give you an example in this right now. Let me turn off the sharing like this so you guys can see my pretty face. So this is an example. I was working with a client, and then what happened is that I was kind of like their local IT, right? So the MSP came in, and the MSP was going to work after hours. So after 5 o'clock, none of our IT people supposed to work. They can go home and sleep and enjoy their life. Now we are paying this company, so they're going to take over for users that are having issues. So you see, this is where remote skills, even in MSP, if you land a job in an MSP, you're going to be dealing with something like this. So you have to do what first? You have to open a documentation of that specific company. And you're going to have to see, okay, this company A, this company B, this is company C. This company C is telling me that you have to use the jump box that we're giving you. This is your username and password. You need to log in over there, and then you need to basically take care of my clients. Why is that? What's the reason? Can anyone give me an answer right here? Let's do a little bit kind of Q&A. Like, why would I want an MSP to use a jump box and don't just directly get into my client's machine? Anybody?
What is MSP?
Anyone? What is MSP?
Managed service provider.
There you go. So MSP is a company, Vilad. It's like companies that are basically giving services to other companies. So for example, I'm an IT engineer, and I work from 9 to 5. And now after 5 o'clock, there's no engineers. So I'll talk to my managers that, hey, what about after support? So they will hire another company to do that. Or they may be that I'm a network engineer. I don't have certain skills in networking or security. Why don't we hire a company that can do networking? For example, I can hire Kumail as a contractor, right, Kumail? And Kumail can then help me because he has experience in this area, but he has to have his own company. Most of the time, companies will not see that how good Kumail is. They're going to see what's Kumail company, what's their reviews. They're not going to just trust Kumail to get into their firewalls because Kumail is so good in security. They're going to have to that. But coming back to my level 1 answer is this, that if an MSP is going to directly contact my client or my staff members, my staff member was never used to that. You see, it's a customer service. So the MSP may say, let's use TeamViewer. And my staff member like, what? I never heard of that, right? And then if a MSP is trying to install that on a staff member, the MSP might not have that kind of rights. So you have created more calls instead of fixing an issue. Now MSPs has to spend another 20 minutes just to explain to my client that this is TeamViewer, I'm using it because I like it. They cannot do that, right? MSP will go into my jump box and we have a solution in there, SCCM, and my staff members were used to that. So you cut down on that. So the first thing what I'm teaching you guys is what? You gotta ask your people who are working with you. I'm sure they do these kind of trainings and 90% of the time they will do it. But you're gonna come across some people that are just like, I don't know what they think, that they think you're just magic, just gonna go in there and just on your own, you're going to pick up documentation and you start learning all these things. And another thing I already discussed about in IT, there's a bad attitude in a lot of engineers levels or sysadmin levels that they feel like they're walking on the sky or something, that somehow you're just going to, you don't like these kind of questions. Why don't you just take a documentation, man? I did it that way. So we're also against that kind of attitude as well. In this platform, we're very much like, we want to help people. Okay. So this is the reason that you also need to open up your mind when you're applying to these positions. Don't just think that, oh, in Jobskillshare, we have done a lab on AnyConnect. So then that's what I'm going to see. And that's how it's going to be set up. So consider that these are the different scenarios that you're going to come across. So you have to deal with that. And so now you're mentally at least prepared for this type of situation. Does anybody want to add something to this specific, thing, KevTech or anybody?
Yeah, I think as we're working more remotely, just in general with IT, it's gonna be more customer service focused. Anyone that's an engineer or does sysadmin or network admin, they're gonna have to like we were talking about before. They have to be more hands on with level 1 because the level 1 is actually the first line of defense. And if people can't get on VPN and people can't do their work, there's gonna be a lot of screaming going on in the office or in your job. So obviously that there has to be some sort of infrastructure that is stable, and also everyone has to be hands-on. Like even me in my job, I work together with the sysadmins and I work together with the network admins. And on top of that, I had an issue where my CEO couldn't connect to VPN, and then everyone was like, what the hell's going on? Why is this not working for him? And then I fixed it for him, and it wasn't even an issue that had to do with VPN. It was another issue. So, and I fixed it for him, and then they thought it was an infrastructure issue. I'm like, no, you guys are okay. Everyone was sweating. We had people sweating, like their hands were just sweating everywhere. Because it's the CEO. So if his stuff is not working, that's really bad. That's super duper bad. And then I gave him a workaround, and we got it to work for him afterwards. But that's the thing is it's all hands on. Like if people cannot do their job and they can't make money, IT is going to be the first one to go. I'm just letting you know right now. I'm being honest with you, because they need to make money. They have time is money, and they need to make money. So if they're not making money because IT doesn't work or infrastructure doesn't work, we have a lot of problems. So that's just what it is. You have to know how to maintain the infrastructure. And I'm not saying that from like a high level perspective. I'm saying that as just an IT level 1 support guy. Like you have to know how to deal with people. You have to know how to handle the situation. You have to know how to educate people, and you have to know how to talk to people that are not tech savvy, because they don't know what VPN is. They don't know what VPN. They don't know what Citrix is. They don't know what that is. They don't know how to change their password.
You gotta be very non-techie with users that don't use these. Well, if they know about VPN, then you have to at least say that, okay, this is a product that it will connect you to your home, your office desktop. Make it sound like that. Even if you have to use their terms, right? You have to use something that they know, they understand, they know what their office desktop means, right? So they know that. Okay, I know what you mean. Okay, from my laptop to my home office desktop, that's what you mean. Then the rest, you need to teach them. You need to guide them.
Exactly. You got to guide them. Like an example of that is like someone was having an issue with connecting through Citrix, and then this issue happened to me yesterday. Someone had an issue, a Citrix issue, and part of my job is I don't pick up phone calls. So any phone calls get redirected to our help desk, and I am kind of help desk, kind of not. So one of the phone calls got I saw no one was taking care of the client because they were very busy getting bombarded with calls. So I took care of her, and I noticed that, sometimes in IT, you got to work as a team. So someone gave her a laptop that wasn't provisioned properly. So then she was trying to work from home and it wasn't working. The laptop wasn't working. And then I had to I spent 45 minutes to get the laptop to work for her because there was nothing set up properly for that laptop. She took it home with her and it wasn't working. And then I had to set it up for her. And then I got everything to work for her. And then she's like, who is this? I didn't even know who you are. Who are you? And then I'm like, oh, I'm from New York. Oh, you work with the CEO? Yeah, I work with the CEO. Oh, no wonder. I never even heard of you because people don't know. Like, we have a lot of users, a lot of clients, but I don't deal with other people like outside of New York.
Just for people who are watching this live, KevTech is kind of like executive support. So he has to work with a lot of CIOs and CEOs and very higher level people. So that's a different level right there. But again, most of the things that he's dealing with is almost exactly what other users are dealing with too, right, Kev? It's almost the same thing, but it's just like the level of customer service is a little different where a CEO is having an issue, and that's where things are. I mean, we're not promoting that if somebody's not a CEO, so you're just like, hey, you're not a CEO, I'm not going to help you. Just sit down right there. It's not like that, The professionalism and the things has to be natural in you. Like Kev is helping people, that's natural because that's where the CEO also will get people that he's working. He's not going to get he's not going to take this kind of things in his meetings that everybody's complaining about Kev. And now Kev is only nice to CEOs, but he's very rude to other people, right? It doesn't work that way, right, Kev?
Yeah, exactly. I treat a janitor the same as a CEO. I treat everyone the same. It doesn't matter who you are. So I expect that same level of, I guess, confidence and customer service with all of the IT help desk people. This is the reason why I follow up. I talk to everyone in IT help desk, and this is the reason why when we have job interviews, like I told Danish, my interviews are not the same as anyone else. My interviews are very soft skill driven.
He's very hard on people, guys. I mean, I'm a little soft. He's pretty hard on people.
Yeah, so I'm more customer service focused because I come from a hedge fund environment, and I also work for the Department of Education. I worked in a lot of different places, but my background is a little more customer service driven. Like Danish will ask like technical questions. I wouldn't do that. I ask you soft skill questions, and my questions get a little crazy.
The reason that there's a little difference is like this. So our belief is basically if I don't ask about technical questions like that, like Active Directory in Office 365, or I don't promote that, then people think that, can I be just nice in the interview and I'll get the job, right? So a lot of people then get disappointed when they go to a job. People ask them about these, Active Directory questions, Office 365 questions, and then that's where a problem to a lot of people comes in. They develop this mentality that I do need experience. Like a practical experience. And we're like saying, no, we're basically kind of like showing them a solution here rather than saying that you have to be either very technical or very soft skill. Soft skill is something that you got to have naturally, right? That's something we agree. If you don't have that, you don't know how to sit in front of the person. You're going there with like an egg on your shirt, and you're like sitting there like that. Okay, yeah, what's up, man? Yeah, of course, that's something you gotta have naturally, and then of course, technically, you also have to be. When we were talking about soft skills, you are not going to be talking about your personal life story, your girlfriends out there, partying and stuff like that. You're going to be talking about. Kumail is laughing right now.
Why is Kumail laughing?
I know how he was going to say something.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing is that you gotta have a balance of both. You're not gonna know everything in IT. You're not gonna know everything in IT. That's impossible. No one here knows everything in IT. You have to know like the basics of the software application. That's it.
Yeah. So the other thing about this is that you don't need to know about everything, but you need to know about something to impress another human being. At the end, who is taking our first interview? Who is picking up that resume? Who's picking up that resume? That's going to be the HR people. That's going to be the IT people who's going to hire you. So to be honest, at the end, it's a human versus human. How do you impress another human being, right? It applies everywhere in the world. If you have to land a contract, if you have to win something, even in your personal life, if you have to impress a girl, whatever it is, you got to do something for impressing another human being. So that resume that we're talking about, that skills that we're putting, not at the master level, but at least at the basic level, is to impress another human being. The next phase is also very important for us. When we tell people that you can land a job, yes, you're going to land a job, but we're a platform. We also think about a little ahead for this person, and for this person, how is he going to take the stress? Because we have proven in this platform that people have lost jobs, right? They got terminated, even though they did well in their first, like they cheated or they lied on their resume, or they got lucky or somebody really liked them. They got in somehow. But now the first calls that are coming, and there are very reactive calls. These all calls are reactive. I don't care whoever is working in what kind of a situation in IT, you are always reactive. You pick up the call, or you're doing something, you're working on a system, you're always kind of like in it, right? So if you don't know how to do these things, or you don't, I'm not saying that you've got to be a master of these things, but in the beginning, if you cannot take that stress, then you will probably lose your job, right? So the second thing in our platform is to, how can we help you? So then, because of these trainings, why are we sitting here, right? This is something that we're doing for free, right? Everybody's, look, everybody can do anything in their home too. These are professionals. They're making good money. Why are they sitting over here? The one reason they're sitting over here is so then they can give you the knowledge. They can share the knowledge with you. So then you don't get terminated. At the same time, you get more confidence, and you feel like, if they did it, I can do it. They're not different than me. They're saying that we went through a hard time. We had to learn all this stuff, so I can do it myself too, right? But of course, at the end, we're also telling that as a platform, we're giving you certain resources that we're very open, and we're not hiding anything. It's going to charge. We're going to charge. We're going to charge if we're giving you a server for 30 GB RAM. We're going to charge you for a product that is $40,000 value outside. Of course, it's not going to be free, right? And anybody have a disagreement with that? So that's what we're doing in this platform as well. But now let's move on to more into the let's see what the chat is. Hadi looks like he has been working from home for quite some time. Hey, that's the beard. Hadi, do you wanna answer that, Hadi?
Who asked that?
In the chat, in the YouTube chat. This is one of our friends, basically.
Yeah, actually Kumail was messaging me. He said his beard looks rough, but I think it looks pretty. Don't you guys think?
Hey, my beard does look rough. I haven't gone to the office in a few months, man, at this point. So yeah, it's bad.
What's about the shirt you're wearing?
It's happening to me too as well. I'm becoming a caveman. Like in a few days, I'm gonna have like this big beard.
Danish, no. Ask Kumail the shirt he's wearing. It's pretty tight. What is it?
Yeah, it's the Iman Rider's shirt. Hey, Hadi, Danish, I want to actually jump in on what you were saying, man. So I was actually reading an article the other day, and it says that there's like a 4 million man shortage in the IT industry just in the States right now.
Wow.
So if that doesn't tell you that there's opportunity out there, like it's there. For me to help people do this, it's like karma, right? It's going back into the system. We need people to kind of help build that cycle, just like I was doing so in the customer service side 10 years ago, 15 years ago, right? The next person that comes up, I'm always willing to help teach them, get them along the way. And then hopefully the plan is that they'll learn, they'll improve, they'll get to the next position and whatnot. So yeah, it's 100% there. You have to have a little bit of the skin in the game. You have to be prepared for the interviews. You have to be prepared for when you get on the job. You're getting paid to do something. You got to be expected, right?
That's two different levels right there, right? So to be honest, I think if you look at our platforms, we are very much covering that right now. If you look at KevTech, video has 300 videos. I have 1,000 videos. There are other YouTube channels like Kumail, IT Career Questions. There are many other channels that if you combine this, to be honest, the first level of jobs, I don't know, some of the videos get repetitively, some of the questions get repetitively asked. And we're trying to promote this also, that look, Kev is also a human being. At some point, I'm sure he's going to start feeling that I have done this video, man. I've done this like 10 times, right? Kev, you feel like that at some time, right? I'm sure you're a very positive person. You may do this 10 million times, but at the same time, you're a human being. Let's just accept that reality that you may not be able to do the same video again and again and again and again and again and again. So what we do is like, we're also promoting this, that we have done so much that I think we have covered the first level domain. And now we're getting into more skills. Like we can help people with a lot of skills right now with resources, with home-based labs, with the videos on YouTube, and the people like you guys who are coming to this for in these trainings. To be honest, I appreciate you, and I want to say thank you for taking that time out and giving us this information, because this is not something you can get outside. Honestly, it's not something you can get in a course, right? So, okay, guys, so what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to switch this a little bit, and I'm going to show you a full-blown one example of software-defined networking now. And this is going to be a little interesting. So that's going to give you an idea of how, local VPNs are connected to the cloud and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a little practical example for you guys. So I already showed you, you can go and get our labs in the ASA. So you can do this lab on your own and actually connect the VPNs. But again, here, let me show you another example. If you want to know how a user will, like, what do I need to learn as a technician? What level of things can I start immediately? So I'll show you this playlist that we have already started. So even with this video, that playlist will be a great playlist. So if you come over here and you type Jobskillshare, and you go in there and you go to Jobskillshare English, go to the playlist. And in the playlist, you can see right here, this is the playlist right here. So if I click on it, for you guys, I would.
Hey, Danish.
Yes.
We're watching you, not your screen.
Oh, man, thank you so much. I'm like, thank you. Thank you, Kumail. So guys, if you guys go to Jobskillshare YouTube channel, and can you guys see my screen right now?
We see it.
Okay, so if you guys go to the Jobskillshare channel, first of all, I recommend you first watch this live training. This is going to be the first video, by the way, because it has so much knowledge and information. It mentally breaks you down, right, into more technical learning. So when you get into the playlist, you're going to click on remote troubleshooting skills for help desk. When you click on this playlist, you can see remote troubleshooting skills for help desk part 1, and then for the new professionals, and then we talk about SCCM, and then we talk about Microsoft Teams. Now, it's impossible for us to hold these many professionals and try to teach this stuff in this training. That's just useless, right? We're gonna make a 6-hour-long video. Still, we're not gonna make any beneficial type of technical hands-on stuff. So I'll recommend you guys go to this after this training to learn that. But again, I'm gonna show you one more thing just to give you a more clarity of how these things are working. And guys, you guys can jump in the middle if you want to talk about certain things over here. So here you go. We got a cloud-based infrastructure ready for you guys. Now you may say, how am I going to do this? This is where I'm going to say, no, you're not going to do this. You don't create an infrastructure in the cloud. That's not your job, right? So this is where I'm a little aggressive, when I'm like, cut it down. Don't go to the infrastructure yet. Who does that? If you have the answer, Eddie, who would implement a infrastructure like this for us, for you guys, for help desk people? Who would be that? Who would be the titles right there?
Is the system admin would do this?
Perfect. It will be system admin. It will be a cloud engineer, whoever has more experience on the infrastructure level. So they're going to come over here and they're going to go to, let's say, the Active Directory or the virtual system. So virtual machines right here. And then here I would say, okay, this is our domain controller and this is our VPN server at work. So let's just assume that this is our VPN server in the cloud or in internal office or hardware, whatever it is. We just went in there, or Haroon went in there and implemented the solution for you guys. But now here's the problem. We also have an Office PC in the cloud right there. Like we have the cloud PC running in there. So this is the Office right here, right? So I'm gonna draw something just to give you a little clarity over here. I know some of you are experienced in this stuff and this may get a little boring for you guys. So that's just, bear with me. So let's say this is the Office right here. And these are the two. This is a domain controller, and of course, this is also a server, VPN server. Let's say this is a full infrastructure, and this is our home staff PC right here. And now with this whole situation with the coronavirus stuff, we cannot get into the Office. So how would we access that? How do we access that environment? This is totally on the cloud. I cannot just spin up my RDP right now in my machine and just like type that VPN server. It will not work. So let's go ahead and actually test it first. So let's go ahead and open up a local system like this. So this is our local ESXi. This is another access that we also give in our trainings, by the way, if people are interested, like, okay, I really want to do this hands-on. So this is where, let's say, for example, this is the help desk. At home. So you're at home, this is the help desk. And this is also, if you come over here, another staff member is also now in home. So you guys understand that, right, Eddie, that we are now in the home network. But we need to connect to what? Our office network. This is our office network. It's totally separated. And this is our home network. So you as a help desk basically are going to basically come over here and let's test it out. Can I actually access that external network? So we're going to go ahead and do Alt-Control-Delete. And we're going to log into this machine right now. Hopefully I remember all the passwords. To be honest, I never remember these passwords. Okay, there you go. The first thing.
Is it 1, 2, 3?
I always use that password, by the way. So guys, if a help desk is working at home, right? The first thing you need to learn because this training is for you. So you are in this situation as well. You're sitting at home, you're trying to access that office network. What is the first thing I need to do right here? What do I need? Anyone can give me an answer. What would I need to access that network? Eddie or anybody who's a student?
Don't you? Well, I don't. This is the obvious thing. You need an internet connection, no?
So I already have the internet connection. Let's say you say, okay, Eddie, go ahead and let's say, for example, this is a staff member calling you. Eddie, I need to connect to my home PC from this machine. And Kev, this is I like to do it like this. Eddie, go ahead and pick up the call.
Hi, this is our IT help desk department. Eddie speaking. How can I help you?
Okay, I need to. This is Kev. I am the director of education, and I need to access my home. Sorry.
Oh,
I need to access my office PC. What do I do right here? Can you guide me?
This is going to be off the record because I wouldn't have a clue. I know a little RDP, but
okay. So we can use lifelines. You can say lifeline. You can ask Kev or somebody to help you out. So you can pick on people like, hey, can I use a lifeline? So
I'm guessing it would have to do something to do with the RDP, remote desktop.
Okay, I mean that's there, but there's something missing right there, right?
VPN connection?
What's that, sorry?
Is it VPN connection? What's missing?
Yeah,
you need to create a VPN to know.
VPN to know. But if I am calling you, how would you tell me that I need a VPN? Like, how would you guide me to get that VPN?
To download that software.
Download the software, great. I mean, you would have some type of a link in there. Of course, I didn't teach none of that stuff in this training. So there's going to be a link, remote.jobskillshare.org or some other things. And other guys can also help me with this. What are you guys using to help other people? Are you guys giving them some kind of
documents? Yeah, they can use a documentation or whatever.
Documentation, maybe from what? From portal.office.com, which is a web, which is available from the web, right? Which is easy way for you because your client already, like I said in the beginning, you're going to be helping your client with whichever they're used to, right? You're not going to implement something brand new to them. Okay. So if they're used to accessing their email through Office 365, that's the perfect way to share a link. Now, of course, a lot of people are already, they already learn how to use their intranet, or in portal.office.com also have a SharePoint. SharePoint has its own links in there. So if you go into the SharePoint, they're already used to that. So what are you going to say to that? Can you go to this page, or I can send it to you in the email. So you're going to make it easy for them, right? So they may already know that. If they don't know that, you're going to send it to them in the email. So make this a little bit fast forward. They will download what? The first thing is to download the VPN connection, right? VPN client. So that's what we call it, VPN client, right? So let's say we have already done that in this situation. So if Eddie, I have downloaded, and I don't know why I'm picking on Eddie again and again. Let me not pick on you. Let me pick on somebody else. Let me pick on Vilad right there. So Vilad, if I downloaded the VPN right now, I just downloaded it. Can I open my RDP right here? And can I type, let's say the staff PC name is Office PC. Can I type Office PC right here from home? Will this work?
I think you first thing what you need to do, like establish your VPN connection. Just connect to the server first.
Exactly. So a lot of times, and Kevin can verify that, and other people can verify, a lot of times people don't do that. Almost 90% of the time, right, Kumail? People just don't do that.
So I'm laughing because I actually just spent about 2 hours with one of our help desk guys a couple days ago because I thought one of my accounts wasn't working. Some of our management devices are behind a VPN, and come to find out, I just didn't connect to my VPN, so I felt like a dummy. So yeah,
it happens always. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll get something like this computer is not on the domain. This computer cannot be found, or the firewall is blocking this computer. And all those error messages usually come associated with VPN. So you have them connect to VPN and then have them connect to the computer. And also on top of that, if they can't connect to the computer, it's probably a DNS issue where basically the computer is not online, it's not on.
Yeah.
So you gotta keep that in mind, and your computer has to be on in order for you to connect to that computer.
Exactly. That's kind of like the next level after this. So if you connect to the VPN, so a lot of people will say that, okay, you connected to the VPN, can you test this link? So people have the internal links, right? So if that link came up, then you know that this person can access internal network. So that means and from a network perspective, he's good to go, right? Because he can access that internal link that was not possible for you to connect like that. Or someone will just straight up put an office, like, the computer name, and it'll just giving errors up. But then there's always, like, you got to make sure you understand some of the things, like, okay, is my network totally working or not? Like, can he even access that link? That's another, even after that, you can go into more, okay, my link is working. Now I can be more specific about that computer. Is it off? Is it RDP issue? Meaning there's a lot of different things going on. So let's get into that right now.
Danish.
Yes, go ahead.
I have a question. So basically we use VPN at that time when our machine or system is not on that domain?
No. So it doesn't matter if the machine is on domain or not. The machine is somewhere else and you're trying to connect to that system through your connection. So it doesn't have to do anything with a domain right now. The domain, actually, in the beginning, it depends on what kind of infrastructure people have set up for you. Now, 90% of the time and more than that, it could be an Active Directory. So even if you have to connect to this VPN, it has to be that authentication in the beginning, right? So the domain is even above that. So if some people are confused about what we were talking about domain stuff, this is why I would like to say that come and take our training, because that's where we're then giving you all the information about domain controller, how to create Active Directory and everything. So that's something you're going to learn from different training, okay?
Like,
you can't penetrate into your office network without the VPN. That's it.
There you go. That's a good answer. You cannot get into the office network without VPN. So you're going to need that.
So, like, why we need VPN during RDP connection? Like in our training we use.
Good question. So because VPN, it's like a virtual private network. Now I don't want to get into too detailed right here, but it's through the network, it creates tunnels, and through different type of VPNs, it uses different type of technologies, and it connects to different areas that are not physically connected. Does that make sense? So if somebody is in India, they're using their ISP, and they're using, let's say, some ABC ISP, but I'm using in US XYZ ISP, right? So through the internet, they connect with each other using secure connections. So now, from a local machine, which I explained, this is our local office, like at home. This is our home machines right here. It goes out through the network from our firewalls and everything, goes to this network right here, and then get connected like that, right? Now, you may say, what are those things? Like I said, that's something you have to then learn from where? in test out, you're gonna come over here to the file. No, it's not file management, security. Let me see where that is.
Another thing I want to add before he finds something, a lot of times your government, the agency you work for, they have a security policy, right? It could be a government mandate policy or just organization wide that in order for you to access this certain type of file or something, you have to be on VPN, right? Because they want to make sure your connection is encrypted and is secure. So that's another reason sometimes your work requires you to be on VPN. You don't have to, you can still get in, but you have to be on it just for the protection's sake.
Okay, so now, like I said, that Kevin is also saying it depends on the companies. They may be using Citrix, some people may be using AnyConnect, some people may be, but the learning part, which is important for you because you're kind of learning this stuff, right? So if somebody's teaching you about AnyConnect or Citrix, everything is going to be confusing for you because everything will have its own way of connecting, right? So for you, this is a recommendation that you're going to come over to the security section, and what are you learning right here? Look at this, VPN. And on the bottom, there's firewalls right here. So in that, you're not only learning practically, but theoretically also, because there's a lot you need to learn how VPNs are working, officially. So that's why we don't want to make this whole thing boring, because if you get into that, this training will be another 10 hours training, right?
Probably more than that.
More than that, exactly. So this is where the learning piece is. This is why I'm going to cut people down and say, okay, that's where you need to learn, because the question is a great question, but where do you learn it? This is where you need to learn. Now, is this the only place you can learn? No, you can also go to Amazon, buy a book on security, on VPNs, go to YouTube channels. They have a bunch of videos about VPN. You can learn it from anywhere as long as you know you want to learn about VPN and how VPN works. That should be your searching, how VPN works, right?
Okay.
Usually when not to pause you for a second, but usually when people ask me about VPN and stuff like that, like for example, a CEO, he asks me, why do I gotta connect to VPN? I usually tell him it's an application you click on, you connect to it, and basically it helps you connect to your system as if you're in the office. That's basically what it is. That's a simple answer. I give him that as the answer because I don't want to complicate the living hell out of him. So basically I say that to him.
That's the simple line.
I can add something on the VPN. It's,
please.
Basically, it's to connect safely and with security to access to the data of the company, which is very important, I guess.
Yeah, that's why we use VPN for that reason. Yep.
So basically, people asking VPN, and I think the first reason when I talk about VPN is security.
There you go.
Correct, but this is very important because you can connect to your work from home using other stuff, but the VPN is safety, is security.
Exactly. So that's exactly a point, but then there's another big point about VPNs is it depends on what kind of VPN. Some are web-based, some are network-based. So when you're working in an on-premises type of building, like for example, what we're going through right now is an emergency situation and everybody was using on-premises type of network, right? So what were they using? They were using what? File servers. They were getting access map, like, map drives and everything, right? It's inside the network. So VPN makes it super easy for you to not go through some web kind of stuff. Exactly, you can just put the path while you're connected to a VPN, and you can grab that document and save that document right like you're working inside your company. That's why people use business level VPNs, because it has the ability like this. I'm sure other free VPNs also have that kind of ability. And that's where another big point of using VPN like that is going to be how easily you want your members or your user, your staff members to work. And that's why it creates problems too, right? Because it needs more setup. If it was a web-based VPN, to be honest, I'll be like, go to my jobskillshare.org server. And boom, you got the whole server right in front of you inside the browser, and you can work. But then people are going to call you, I'm doing all control delete, but it's not working on my browser because browser was never designed for that.
Exactly.
It's going to be working on your keyboard and it's going to be using your own. So this is going to create even more issues for people, right? Or people say, I want to drop that file from one machine to another machine, or I want to map to another machine. This is going to create too many problems. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have a question, just a brief one. How you guys prepare the personal computers for accessing the corporate network? I mean, like laptops, and they have all of that, their personal stuff, and who knows what could
how do we
happen.
prepare it? Like what?
I mean, like what like they could have something like viruses and that stuff, and this kind of laptop connecting your corporate
Well,
network.
let's ask our more technical person right here, which is KevTech, and then I can jump into it. And other people like Kumail and other people also have this stuff. So Kev, let's talk with you. Let's start with you. How do you prepare your laptops for people? Like, are you imaged? Is it already imaged, or how does it work?
So ours is already imaged. We don't allow people to download VPN on their local machines, on their regular personal computers. Typically, we image it, and the image will come with Cisco AnyConnect or any of those other applications. And then we have anti-software, which is like Silence and McAfee and a few other applications that run in the background on the computer in case anything suspicious is going on. Basically, it will block it.
Now, one thing I want to add is, do you guys use sysprep in it? Because I know you don't want to be using one master image for everybody, right? I'm sure you guys are using something, right?
Yes, we're using multiple applications and multiple software. I can't go in depth with it because of my job, but basically, yeah, we have a bunch of things that run in the background, and
Okay.
it will quarantine anything that's suspicious is going on the computer, and that's it.
So
I have
another
a question,
Yeah, go ahead.
if you guys, to KevTech. So, do you guys using an MDM to manage those laptops?
We use our MDM, so I went over SecureDoc earlier. SecureDoc actually does do MDM as well. So I actually, with SecureDoc, you could actually destroy the whole computer if you wanted to, if someone were to steal the computer, and you could actually wipe the whole computer clean, and you could lock the computer. You could do a bunch of things on it. So
Okay. So
that's
answer-
our
to
thing. That's our
answer
software.
to answer another of your question, it depends on who you're working. Like Kev already mentioned that it depends on what type of company you're working. So if you're working for MSP, they're going to be probably using some type of systems like Iterion or some managed type of system that are designed for MSP providers. So when you put all the systems in here, that kind of comes with all the mobile connection,
Device management,
device management, everything is included in one panel. And that's kind of like a little advanced stuff, but that's where MSPs are working like this. Now, if you're working with a company, they use Intune from Microsoft, that you know about that, I guess.
Exactly.
So there's different type of solutions out there. But again, coming back to giving out the laptops, it also is not as like depending on who is dealing with it and what kind of systems they're using. So sometimes you create an image, but you create an image as like a master image, right? So it is a big problem in servers, not too much in the laptop area, because if you image everything with one, let's say you have one image and you give it on different laptop, the problem with Windows is that you use SSID, right?
Exactly.
So so if you are going to be using even imaging for Vlad, this is just for you, just in case you're doing this tomorrow, you got to think about this situation where if you are trying to add this machine to a domain in future, it's probably not going to work. Why? Because that same SSID was imaged, let's say 100 times. So that's where it's going to create a lot of problems. So people have, let's say KevTech says that he has different type of tools, and then they will take care of that and they will remove the SSIDs. And this is a big problem with new technicians. Why? Because they think that imaging is so sweet, so easy. I'm just going to image it, put it on all these 10, 20, 50 laptops and give it to people. But then once they start connecting to your environment, you started to get all these issues. And that's where some of the cloud-based applications will start screaming. Why? Because they feel like I'm seeing only one, but I'm getting connected with 50 laptops. What's going on over here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So later on, this creates a lot of issues for sysadmins, security people, because of the SSIDs. Anybody have anything related to this, Kumail or anyone?
No, I was saying I agree with that. It's all license based. There's a lot of licenses involved. There's a lot of I guess there's a lot of stuff that happens in the background. So you can't just image a computer and expect it to work. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
That's it.
So coming back to now, and that's you guys to answer your question. I like these questions because it does, just you get to the point then. Now coming back to this part right here. Now, of course, as Vlad said that we need to make a connection. So once you install the VPN, or now installation of the VPN, I would prefer you to go back to my playlist to understand how to install just generic VPN systems. So I already did that, right? So of course, when you do that, you're gonna open you have installed it. Now you have to actually connect that VPN. So when you try to connect that VPN, you got to put certain things into that VPN, right? So now what happened? Can somebody tell me when I connected, something happened over there? So any of the students right here, what happened over there? You saw something just went by. Let me just disconnect again.
You get an IP address from your
you get an IP address from where?
From your server VPN.
Good. So this, what we were talking about when we were talking about server, we were talking about Office, right?
Yeah.
So this is the Office server right here. If you guys are looking at this, so let's go ahead, and that gives it another thing that, okay, where is it set up? And let's just do a little visual right here, how this is set up right here. So let's connect to that server. Again, 1, 2, 3. If you guys want to access the server, it's the IP address is right in front of the screen, and the password is 1, 2, 3.
That's great.
Okay, guys. So a server, this is a software-defined, VPN. So basically, it's not a, hardware, but it's so powerful, you can do everything with it. I'm not promoting this, by the way. Don't do this in your work. You'll probably get fired 100%. I feel like 99.9%, if you try to do this at your work and you try to implement this solution at your work and you open some tunnels, you are fired. If I was your manager and you do this without my knowledge and you open my VPN like this to a company, I'm definitely going to have to talk with you. Maybe I won't fire you. Maybe Kev will fire you. He's a little strong on this area, but I'm going to just give you some.
With his CEO, yeah, of course.
So here, I'm going to connect to the VPN. So you can see a VPN can be very, very technical, guys. So the reason I picked on this software is that it gives you an enterprise levels, information. So it's not just like you go there to the web base and my VPN server is ABC and you connect to it, right? It's not like that. It's very technical right here. So first of all, it's telling you what a VPN has to be very, very much controlled. It gotta know what kind of ports it goes out, and it gotta basically take in whatever it is, because VPN cannot be, like I said in the beginning, you cannot open a VPN like a normal application. Like, this is something that you can joke around with. So first of all, you need to understand that, look, there are some ports that are listening. So when I connected, what happened? It was listening, right? The server was listening. To answer Rahal's question, what happened? I mean, both are different networks. One is my local data center, and the other one is what? In the Azure cloud. So both went through where? From the internet, it got connected, because this guy was what? This guy was listening. So once it's connected, then it did something. How did it do that? It gave something to that machine. What was that?
IP address.
IP address, perfect. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to break this VPN for a little bit, just to give you guys a, let's see if I can quickly do this to confuse the hell out of you guys. Okay, I'm just quickly doing it so you guys don't catch things quickly, okay? So if I disconnect, if I did something right now and I'm just doing something right now, look I did something, but you guys didn't really catch it. But if I go to my local network right now, and let's say I disconnect from here as well, and now if I want to connect it, what's happening now, guys? What's happening?
There is a request on an IP address to the DHCP server.
Okay, so let's say if this is the type of thing that's happening right now, and you're looking at this right now, and you connect to a VPN, how would you verify that you're connected to a VPN?
If you get an answer.
IP config.
Whoa, perfect example. There you go. So this does show us that it's connected, right? So it doesn't matter what VPN system you use, it gotta give you some type of IP address. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I mean, I don't know every single VPN in this whole world. Kev, you can also correct me. So I think normally every VPN is gonna give you a local IP address from some network, right? So I think somebody just joined. Let me see if we can. Okay, I think you guys took care of it, right?
Before we move, can I ask a question just on the connection? So do you know how? How many minimum connection you can have on your VPN server? It depends
on what kind of product you're buying. So for Cisco AnyConnect, Harun, do you know 300? Depending on the license, I guess. So
because KevTech in the beginning he was talking about getting access to VPN and issues to access to VPN, and the number of connection has to do with this, I guess.
It has to do with the license. It has to do with whatever product you're buying and whatever they are going to give you based on that. Now, here's another thing. A lot of companies in this emergency situation have allowed unlimited licenses for many, many companies.
Okay.
So Cloudflare is doing that. Cloudflare has its own VPN, and they're saying they were giving 5 licenses for free, but now for till another 6 months, they're saying use unlimited. Don't care. We're helping you. So I'm sure Cisco is going to come out with something like this. Okay, yeah, there you go. You guys can use this license for many, many connections like this. So a lot of people want to help
especially on this. Yeah. Thanks.
Around this. So that's another thing that's a good question, because a lot of people were confused that, okay, we were not prepared for this. So we were only prepared for like 15 people. And even if you do disaster recovery stuff, you don't think that your whole company is going to go down like this, right? Everybody's going to go home. You always think about like 20 more connections or 10 more connections. And now all of a sudden you need 400 connections, right? So your systems has to be ready for this. Now, especially when it comes to a software defined, then it depends on what kind of network you're using, what kind of NIC card you're using, what kind of software itself has the ability to do that. So this is a very powerful VPN. You can even create a cloud networks in there. You can connect cloud to cloud. You can connect cloud to local. You can connect on-premise to cloud. So you can do anything you can think of. But I don't want to go and get into that right now.
Yeah. Another question come out is just about soft VPN and hard VPN.
Yeah.
Those conditions. So what do you advise? A number connection. Let's say you have 3,000 people want to get to work from home. So
yeah, if it's a 3,000 connection,
it's an example. I mean,
if it's a 3,000 connection, then you got to go with something bigger than just a product like that's open source. So I'll suggest you go and check out Azure VPN as a gateway. They have then this whole humongous document out there that how do you create a full Azure VPN connection for a very large environments, right? Okay. And then it's still the software defined VPNs are still new, but they are newer than the hardware, right? So you expect to have problems with that as well. So if that comes around, of course, that's something that everybody has to think, right?
Thanks.
So what I'm basically teaching you right now is actually a software defined VPN. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm not using any hardware. I'm using everything that a hardware is going to give you, but it's software, right? Thanks. So here you go. If we go into Vlad, information. So what do I do? How do I check IP config? This should be a ABCD for you guys.
SMD.
CMD.
Yeah.
And I do IP config, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so can someone tell me what's the issue right here?
You didn't get the
APIFA.
There you go, Kevin. So what is my what's my local network here and what's my VPN network here? Can somebody tell me that?
Yeah, local network is 192.168.10.14, and VPN is 169.254.
Now this is a pretty good point for a lot of people who are brand new and watching this right now. They may say, okay, how do I know these IDs or network classes and stuff like that? Again, where do you go? You got to learn this, right?
Yeah.
This is too radical. This is something you gotta know, understand the classes. So you can either use our access by going to testout.com. We give you this access, and you're gonna find out the networking area, and then find all about networking. Get bored. You're gonna get bored the hell out of yourself, right? So this is the stuff that we all we dislike it, right? As a sysadmin, I dislike this stuff. Trust me. I don't know if Kevin loved this stuff, but I hate this stuff. So
yeah, it's a private IP address. So something going on there.
That's different, of course. Yeah.
So okay, so we know we're having issues. So now, if you were to come across any type of VPN system, at least you can find out that okay, it's connected, and things are not working for me. So that may not be an issue with what? It's not an issue with Active Directory username and password because I already passed that. Well, how did I pass that? Because I got connected, right?
Yeah.
So from troubleshooting mind, you have to really think about is that it's not about just VPN is not working, guys, and you start shooting this email to your engineers. So if I was in your, let's say, if you put yourself in my shoes and I'm troubleshooting this, anyone can pick on this. What would you do if you see this then?
Well, I'll probably check your gateway. It's like nothing is missing there. on VPN.
How would you do that?
Well, I need to go to the server and check it
But
out.
you don't have access to the server. You're not a
Uh-huh.
sysadmin, right? And
Well,
now
I need to know configurations.
But here's the thing. Let's say this is happening and you know that a VPN systems are, let's say, working. You don't have access to servers. What would you do if you're working with a client now? You cannot just say that, let me check your gateway or something like that, right? You cannot say, let me go back to my server. You don't have access. Like I said, you don't have access. You're not at that level right now that you can get into server. What would you do naturally?
You ping it?
You can ping or whatever.
Ping is not going to work. Why ping is not going to work? Because you don't even have an IP. This doesn't even know that, okay, you guys say ping it, right? Let's just go ahead and ping it.
No, yeah, you are right. Yeah, that's not.
Ping VPN server. Is it working?
No, I will ping my network, one of my network addresses.
Which address?
I don't know. What is the address of the network what you connected?
See, you guys are going advanced. Like, let's go back. If you are in this situation and you are seeing this scenario right now, what would you do? If you, let's say you're working with a client right now, you are already remote into your something right now. You're maybe your home machine or your work machine, and you're seeing that client is having this issue. What would you do? Okay, so remember, guys, if you are working and you're already connected, you know that your VPN is working. There's no issues with your VPN right now, right?
Yeah.
So so you as a technical staff, what I would do is two things. One, I can spin up a new machine, or I can find out if other people are having the same issue, right?
Yeah.
Because in the VPN also there are different profiles. Some may be marketing people, some may be a CIO level, some may be this level. Just like in Active Directory, you define access. Just like that, you can have access for Wi-Fi pools. You can have access for a very critical PCI network who takes credit card, right? There are laptops that people taking credit card for. So how would you do that? You cannot just give one VPN to everybody, right? So it could be an issue specifically about, let's say this specific pool. So what I'm basically showing you, in a hardware, there are pools. In a software, there are also pools. So you will have your right in a way that you're gonna, after that, when you verify it, you do your job, then you're gonna take that ticket out that this person is not getting an IP address. It's gonna go where? To your engineers who are sysadmin, who are network engineers, right? You just can't get it, right? For this person, you just can't get it. And you figured it out that another CIO level person cannot get it either. So there gotta be something more than you cannot fix this. Is that correct, Kev? Like right now, you cannot have that. You don't even have that access to fix this. Like you don't have access to the server. You don't have access to the hardware. So who should this go? Who should this escalate to?
Yeah, I would troubleshoot as much as I possibly can before escalating it, because they're gonna get annoyed. You know, have you tried this? Have you done this? Have you done this? You know, the network admin, the server admin is gonna get really frustrated with you. It's like, did you try this? Did you try that?
Yeah.
Oh, and it becomes a battle between you and the server admin or the network admin. Did you do this? Oh, I forgot to do that. Let me go check again. And then you go back and do it. Did you do this? Oh, I forgot to do that. Let me go back and try this again. You know, you want to try everything first.
Some people are suggesting on YouTube that you should do I would change an IP address. But for that change, you also, as a technician, need to know what kind of IP address, what is the subnet mask and all that. So you see, you made it more technical for yourself. Now we're training a level 1 person who may not have any clue about getting and putting an IP address. Now you may say that's too basic, but that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're teaching people, that even this stuff is hard for a brand new person. So that method is either going to work if that person knows exactly the static IP address of that pool. Now, a lot of people will not know this. Even a level 2 will not know this. Even a sysadmin who doesn't know how to configure a pool, if I have not done it, I don't know it. Even though I have 13 years of experience, I would not know it.
Right. Yeah,
I don't have some kind of magic with me, right? I'm not going to know this. So I'm not going to be able to resolve this by just putting an IP address like that, most likely. If you do IP config / renew, that's still not going to work. FaZe, I'm looking at you right now. That's not going to work. Why will this not work? It's an issue above that level. It's not even getting an IP address. It's actually going out to the VPN, knocking a door. Do you have an IP address for me? So there is an issue going on with the DHCP that is not releasing an IP address for some reason. So there got to be a lot of course, this is not the only one issue. There could be an issue with something cool maybe down, or a profile on a VPN or a hardware like an eConnect, that may be some kind of corruption going on. So there could be many different things going on, but ipconfig/release is not going to help you. In this case, if you already find out that 3 other people are not getting an IP address, so that they're getting a fresh IP, right? If I disconnect this VPN right now, another thing that you may have learned it in the networking as a network engineer, you can always run a script on a machine to disable a NIC card and enable it by telling someone, or maybe if you have the ability to do that, then what is that doing? That's renewing an IP address as well. That's getting an IP address, right? But you can run a command like that too, IP/renew, all that kind of stuff, and flush DNS, all that kind of stuff, but it's still not going to work. Most likely it's not going to work. So what we're going to do right here, we're going to go back, and the reason I'm showing you is not to fix this issue or say that this is the solution for this. The thinking is this is training, is to tell you that there's more than just one fix. You got to think multiple things before you say that, okay, this is going to be the fix, right? So you did all that stuff, you couldn't do it. Then you go over here. Now the issue with this specific scenario is that the cloud network is very secure. You guys know that, right? It's not like I have created my own network, so I can do mistakes and everything. I'm sure they can do mistakes as well, but it's very defined in the cloud, right? So what do I mean by that? Let me show it to you guys.
Actually, one thing I wanted to add to what you were saying is that sometimes it could just be a local issue with the software, and you might have to reinstall the whole thing. And people don't do that. Like some from my personal experience with IT people that work at level 1 support, they don't do that. They don't troubleshoot as much as they possibly can before handing the ticket over to a server admin, and then the server admin comes back to me and like, Kevin, this is a local issue. Why is this ticket given to me? And I'm looking at him, I'm like, let me see. And then I look at it and then I get involved, and then that's what happens.
And in that case, is like I said, the first thing you have to do, that first troubleshooting, right? You ask the other people, you check it on the other machine. Is it working on another machine? Then you go into specifically about this machine, reinstall, reset adapters, check the cable. And then in this area right now, you're going to tell a user that, okay, maybe you have 2 connections going on, your Wi-Fi is taking over. So something crooked is happening if this is one machine, right? There's so many different scenarios that can happen. And for that, like I said, you have to use what? Google, if you can fix it, right? If it's
restart your computer,
one machine. But what is the master? What is okay? This is going to be probably not a good solution right here, because if you're talking about VPN, you don't have this ability to tell the person that, let me give you an image for your personal laptop. That's not going to work. I wasn't thinking about that. I was like, let me give you a master solution. So guys, in the company, you have a master solution. And what is that? If you spend 1 hour on an issue, can somebody help me? What is that master solution as a technician, as a level 1?
Restart the computer.
Restarting is great. I like that answer. Restart will solve most of the issues. But let's say you restart the computer and you're like, man, this thing is not working at all. What is this master solution that you have? What do you do in the beginning that you think that this is my baby right here? I'm gonna use this baby. And anytime if something, oh, there you go, window on a chat, check it out. Re-image. You got that master solution image. But let me tell you very clearly, it does not work all the time. If you're working with a CEO, working with a director level people that have used their machine for 5 years and they are so used to their favorites, they love this little tiny money, I love to do this like that, I love to do this like that. You can't just go there, I'm going to re-image your machine. Now, that is your still master solution, by the way. You still can get away with it, but they're not going to like it. They're not going to like it. You have to go through a lot of explanation before you come to this solution, right? Or throw it out of the window. Yes, do that, definitely. Or just throw it out of the window.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are going to be people that, unfortunately, they're very attached to their computers, and you can't give them a new computer, even though it's the latest and greatest technology and the latest and greatest computer. They're very attached to their computer, so they don't want to have a new computer. They don't like change.
So Somebody did a answer right there. Humberlo, you actually did a correct. That's the answer. That's correct. And I've been basically saying that in the VPN environment, you're very defined, right? Like you have defined who can get access to what kind of pools and what kind of IP addresses. So you're right. And if you go back to this server right now, that's what's exactly what's happening. So before, when I was telling you guys that I'm going to cheat a little bit and I'm going to quickly do things right to mess it up, that's what I was doing. So if I go to this VPN, this is, let's say, a one hub. Let's say this is called for marketing, right? So inside the marketing, I only allow how many people? There's only one person right there, right? So who is there? Dikhan, right? So if I go there, this person is allowed and it's connected, right? No problem. This person is having no issue, but he's having issue with what? With a network, right? So what I will do in this, I'm going to enable the secure network. Now, of course, this is something, like I said, you don't need to worry about it all. Throw it out of the window. Just look at it, understand right now. So if I do secure networking and a DHCP, what am I doing? Just that little box, I'm telling that box that you have a DHCP server and you have a secure NAT going on inside this little box. And if I show it to you guys, configuration, look at this. It has a what? An IP address starting from where to where?
Subnet.
How many IP can I assign in this network?
190.
Wait, why did you say 190?
You got from 10 to 200.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So there you go. So guys, how did he figure that?
Because you have distributes IP address and it says.
And
But it's DHCP giving you this address, but you still could use 254 addresses.
You could use it, but a lot of people don't do this because that's where you want to keep a little bit more of a documentation purposes. You want to keep things. So a lot of people say 10 to 20 is servers or 10 to 40 are servers. So then you do this for a more of a learning purposes, documentation purposes, and to identify IP addresses for security people easily. Like, for example, Kumail is watching this, and if he sees that, okay, why is in this specific network, I see something so weird about this specific IP, but he knows that this is a team that only sysadmins are connecting to this, right? So because of his documentation, he can look at it and say, okay, that this IP pool is for sysadmins, so I'm gonna only focus on this. So it makes your life easy too, because then you're not like randomly assigning a huge pool out there and you got like random machines connecting to your network left and right and you have no clue what's going on, right? So if I enable this right now, and I basically close this, and let's go back to our VPN locally. Will it work now, guys?
You just need to restart it.
Okay. Yep, there you go. You saw how a small change gave us an IP address, but the reason is not to show you that learning right there. That learning is to tell you that was who did that. A sysadmin, network engineer, a security professionals, that's their job. You don't need to worry about this stuff. So that's the cut down right here. Don't worry about that stuff. But to show it to you now, you have this mentality now, you have this image in your mind right now that, oh, this is how things are done. I'm not like blindly just going there and connecting VPN, and you're spending like 5 hours. Why it's not connecting, and you're like going crazy. Now you know that there's some certain levels out there for it to work, right?
Yeah.
So this is exactly how I train people on Active Directory as well. Our students have to create a domain controller just like in this environment. So then they understand that how domain controller was created, because everything else is after domain controller in most of the companies. So if you don't know how to connect to a network, if you don't know how things are connected, then I can tell you that 6 months of your life is going to be just hell in a way that you're going to be looking like, why things are this way or that way. You're just you're just learning from other people and kind of looking at their solutions. You're not thinking, you're just applying solutions, right, Kumail? That's how we learn, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Because you don't have like you ride motorcycles, right? And you can say, and you're a professional motorcycle rider, I know that by now. And he's like he does racing and everything. And he know me, he's a friend, and I was in the crash. And if somebody know, I broke my C4 and T5. That's your spine and your neck, right? So I was not a professional person. So how did I learn motorcycle? I learned it from friends. I sat down on the motorcycle, I bought a Ducati, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, and I'm happy, and I'm going, and I thought I can do what? What do you call, Kumail, what do you call this thing when you hit the knee on the
knee dragging?
Okay, so I thought I can do knee dragging and stuff like that, but of course I'm thinking in my mind, but I was not knee dragging at all. I was just like, holding on this side. So what happened? I hit the gravel and boom, hit the guardrail and split my helmet in the middle, but didn't split my head. So luckily I'm here today. But Kumail, on the other case, he know how motorcycle works. He know how to turn things. He know how to balance things. So this stuff that he learned, it not just in one day. I'm sure he learned it in quite a good time, right, Kumail?
Yeah, I've been riding for about 10 years and I'm still learning.
So this is where I want to bring you back, that VPNs, Active Directory, networking, domain and client. Try to know the image, try to know the whole network, but don't try to become a master of it. Try to focus that this is my job. Later on, I'm going to touch on these things. So we can teach you, or you can learn it on your own, 2 different ways, right? You can do that. So now if I connect it to this VPN, so what happened after this? Can I ping a VPN server, guys, now? What do you guys think? A ping will work? Oh, what am I doing? I'm searching for VPN. Do you guys think that,
I think it would work, but kind of goes back to the question before. I know that sometimes they turn off the ping, the ICMP, right? They block it and you can't ping. So maybe that's too advanced the question.
No, you're right. Look at this. If I want to connect to, once you are connected, once you get the local IP address from your office, that's it. You're connected, right? So here you go. You will get multiple questions just by looking at this this screen right now. This is such an important screen. A lot of people get stuck over here. So if anybody can give me 2 examples or 1 example, KevTech or anybody, what's so special about this screen? Why people get stuck over here? Like when they click on remote desktop here, they're gonna come over here. They're gonna click on connect. Where do people usually get stuck over here?
They get stuck on their username, and they have to sometimes put the domain and then the slash with the username and then log in with the password.
This is it. You hit the nail right there. That's the biggest call that you're going to get from a lot of people, because they're using a local machine. So what will happen? They're going to show their local like this, and on the bottom it's going to have a local machine name. So they keep trying, and they get frustrated. They call you.
You can't connect.
Yeah, and what would be the second problem over here?
Well, tell them the domain name and the right username.
Let me mute Rahal or somebody.
Yeah.
Who's on the phone?
You forget to turn off the microphone.
Anybody, can you guys look for that and see? Okay. So, this is very important part right here, because this is where a lot of our calls are coming in right now, and people are complaining, I cannot get into my machine. I cannot get into this because of this one problem, that they need to put a domain. So when you say domain, what does that mean? You have to, so every company has their own NetBIOS type of, name in there, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be using what? HQ, headquarter. Somebody's going to be using corporate. Somebody's going to be using what? ABCD, whatever it is. So if I use HQ, I'm going to use what? Which slash is right above enter key, right? That's the slash that we're looking for, right? Correct me.
Backslash. Yeah, this one.
Shifu right here. I may be wrong over here. So if you put as soon as you put an HQ slash D header out there, or D Khan right there, let me use the same name that I'm using here. Okay, what's the next issue that you're going to come across after this?
Wrong password.
Oh, perfect. Wrong password, right? You're going to put a wrong password, but this is here again, another very, very technical question that is going to hit you pretty bad. Some people are going to come over here and they're going to type their passwords, right? And some people will start saying, okay, they will do 2 or 3 times. They're not going to log themselves out because they know that I can get myself logged out. So they are going to call you. So here you go. Eddie, I'm going to pick on you again, Eddie. I'm not going to leave you, man. Eddie, pick up the call. Pick up the call, Eddie.
Hi, IT. This is Eddie speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, Eddie. And so, Eddie, I'm trying to log in. I connected to VPN. Thank you, guys. You guys are doing an amazing job. I love you guys. So I try to connect to the VPN, and I know I'm putting a right credentials like HQ/dcon, but I know my password will get locked out, but I don't remember that. How many times do I have to type if I get locked out? I don't want to get myself locked out. Can you really help me? So you, a technician right now, has something to answer here. You gotta say something to this person. I will get locked out. He knows this person is techie enough that they know they're gonna get locked out. Eddie, do you know how many times do I have to type to get locked out? I already gave you an answer, man. Where is this information coming from?
I would tell them to, I would have to look that up in an Active Directory with the
You're close. Oh, there you go. Good job. So first of all, I'm happy that my training is working. So so good policy is something that we teach Kev and Kumail in the beginning. Why? Because if you got a call like this, you are in a reactive mode right now. You cannot tell a person to hold on. Oh man, you're alone right now. You're on the phone right now. You see, you're in the reactive nature of this job, and right, people are asking you, and you're like, oh crap, man, this person asked me something really messed up. I don't even know this stuff. So a brand new person who is in A+ certified, or people who have not knowledge about group policy, stuff like that, so they get stressed out, right? And that becomes a problem for them. That's where the things, oh my God, man, I didn't mess up. But that's not wrong. I'm not saying that's a wrong thing. That's natural. Yeah. So that what I'm saying is that makes it easy for people to respond to these calls very easily, right? So then you can say, okay, Eddie will say that, yeah, hey, Tom, it's gonna be 7 times. If you put password 7 times the wrong way, you're gonna get locked out. So if the person is not confident enough that, okay, at least I have somebody in there, so let me try it for 7 times, and they'll figure it out. If they can't figure it out, you already know you can unlock that person, right? That's we're going a little bit above that area, but that's kind of like what we're doing right now. Okay, so this is why even if you're troubleshooting a remote issues, you gotta know Active Directory. Now this is why Active Directory became so important again, right? Because you got stuck. You got stuck as a technician. You have to ask another technician then to help you because you didn't know this. Does it make sense? Kev, what do you think about this example? What do you think is worth it to do this?
Yeah, definitely. My answer for that, if someone's like, right now you're logging into that, right? I'm going to be like, you're going to be like calling me and I'm like, good morning, IT, Kevin speaking. How may I help you? Hey, how you doing? How's it going? I hope you're having a good day. What's going on? I can't log into my account. Oh, you can't log into your account. Okay, good. So what's going on? Oh, how many times does it take for me to get locked out of my account? Maybe, and you should know. Some people will know the answers. Some people will not know the answers. It's part of asking questions. So I'm like, oh, your account will get locked out after trying it 3 times. If you can't log into your account or you have issues, let me know. I'll be more than happy to reset your account and we'll take it from there. And then have them try it. And then, obviously, you go in Active Directory, you reset the password or you unlock their account. And that's basically what it is. Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe somebody hacked my machine or something that just got shut down on its own, or maybe it's just a corrupt system. So it just got shut down on its own. Or maybe Hadi's doing something. He knows this stuff. Maybe he's a hacker or something. I don't know, man. Or Kumail is trying to do something on this right now. I'm not sure, guys. So
yeah, he's hacking you.
Kumail, you're not hacking the system right here, right?
Man, I can't even get my mic to work, man. You're good.
All right, this machine is not going to work. So we'll wait for this machine to come back up again. But again, after this, what's happened? After this, like Murad had the same thing. So we talked about like, hey, it's not about just connecting to the RDP, right? So some people may not be just using RDP. They may be using what? They may be using internal, actually not this one. This is wrong. Let me go back to. So they may be using an internal, like say file server, right? So that's why you want to make their life easy to do what? Mapping a drive. These are the different type of calls that you're going to get remotely. That how do I map my drive on my home machine? right? So that's a different thing. That's not a RDP or anything like that. So if I ask, Vilad or Rahad or Eddie, what would you do if you have to map a drive? What do you need first? If somebody said, I need to access a map drive on a server, what do you need first?
Well, you would need to establish your VPN connection. If it's established,
if it's established,
well, I need to know the address of the.
What do you call that
server?
address, by the way? Like usually, if somebody say, what's the address? Could be a web address, right? A link.
Oh,
what do
yeah,
you call
but it could be a network address, like a name.
Network address or path address, right? So
Yeah.
if you go more here and let's say we do share, this is on our, let's say in our Azure, this is in the cloud right now. This is outside our company. So let's do a little quick share right here. So we're gonna right click on it and go to properties. And I like to use advanced sharing because this is fun to do it. I don't know why, I like it. So Kevin is laughing too. I think we all agree with that, right? So you go over here and then let's say you go to permissions and I'm gonna give everybody a permission right here to log into this. Now again, this lab may be a little, it may have issues. Why? Because it's not a domain connected environment. This is a local server and a local machine is trying to connect to this local path, may have issues, which is not the way we like to do things, right? We put everybody on a domain controller, they connect to our domain RDP or they connect to our VPN and they're using everything towards what? Active Directory again. That's why we focus a lot on Active Directory, right? So if I even do permissions right here and I click on OK right here. So where's my network path, guys? What is my network path?
VPN server /share, but you need to put two slashes.
Two slashes represent that network path. So that's important because when it comes to networking remote skills, you got to understand, you got to tell the people, right? They're not going to know what path means. They're not going to know what network means. They're going to know what slash means. A user doesn't know these things. A user means a slash above the enter key 2 times. Kumail is laughing like, that's how you do it. // right above your enter key, put this exact information, or you send it to them through email, or you take over their machine. Okay, so then after this, hold on, guys. Kev, can you take over? I have to, somebody's calling me right now.
Yeah, so like usually for this, so you see how this is shared drive permissions. Typically for shared drive permissions, you want to map the drive, and you want to basically create a letter or create a path for them. So who's using the screen right now? Who's moving the screen right now? Anyone?
That's Danish.
No, with Danish, did anyone else take control of the screen?
No.
Let's hack him.
Yeah, I'm gonna give me a second. All right, so yeah, so basically, I'm gonna just tell you what you normally would do. So basically, you would create a shared drive path, and depending on the shared drive, it's gonna be like Z, Q, R, whatever. And obviously, you need to understand NTFS. Do you guys know what that is? NTFS? Anyone?
New technology file system, something like that.
But do you know how that works? Like, do you just give someone access to a folder, or do you give them access to within the folder or specific folders, or do you just give them access to the whole folder? How does that work? You guys know anything about that?
No.
Oh, you could give access to the specific folder or to whole drive.
The reason I'm asking that is because you don't want to give them access to everything, if that makes sense. You want to be careful with that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking about that. So, and also on top of giving someone access to a specific share drive, you want to get approval for that. You want to make sure you get approval for share drive permissions. It's always important to get approval for everything. You don't want to just give them access to something. And Jobskillshare is back, actually, or Danish is back. So,
thank you. My mom was calling me like, hey, she's from like upstairs. She came in and she's like, it's been 3 hours. Things are ready. So guys, okay. So here's the thing. Of course, that access and permission thing is something that's, like I said, that's where you learn in the company and you are going to be told to do that, right? Without it, you can't just go and give somebody a full access like that, right? Even none of this stuff you can do without knowing that stuff, right? So that's number one. Now, knowing this, that you have the share, you can go back to what? You can go back to your local machine right here, and then basically you will connect to the VPN and type this path where. Like you have to tell a user, where do you put this path in there? Like how would they
Explore.
Explore.
Good job. So let me, like I said, this may work or might not work. That's not a concern over here, but if it's a domain network environment, it would have been very easy because we already know the access is working both ways because both are connected to a domain. So in this area, because a lot of people people don't hire us for local stuff like this, but people hire us because they have domain controllers running, they have a networking running. Unless it's a very small business and they hire us as a contractor, then maybe we may put a solution like that. But again, guys, I think this is good enough for session 1 right now. We cannot cover every single thing in one day. So what I would like to do is this. I would like at the end, people to come up and ask their last questions quickly or last wording on, did you like this training? Do you think it was beneficial? Should we do this again like this? Should we do anything like this? And everybody, you guys can take over. So whoever wants to.
Hey,
Kumail,
yeah, I'll jump in for a second. Hey, Vlad, you mentioned something earlier about how we basically manage who gets access to VPN using what machines and how those are validated. So that's a really good question, especially on the security end. Back in the day, we used to have something called soft VPN versus full VPN. Full VPN was only given to people when you had a corporate or company laptop, right? So then we had some checks against that saying, okay, is this machine on the domain? Is the antivirus that we give through the company installed? Is it up to date? Is it up to date within the past 30 days? Has this user been online and activated under Active Directory for the past 30 days, right? So there was a bunch of checks that we did. Now, the other option was, hey, I have a personal machine and I'm bringing it onto the network. All right, cool. That's when you get access to a soft VPN, right? And what that basically did is not give you permission and access to all of the environment within the company, right?
Yeah.
So what it would say is, okay, cool. The few applications that we allow you to access from your own personal machine, because we can't trust your personal machine, right? Like that's the bottom line. I still don't trust my personal machine. You never know, right? So yeah, what we would say is the few applications, like most of the time they would be web accessible applications, right? We'd say, okay, we let this stuff be allowed, or maybe like an Outlook session or whatever the IT directors or management in that situation allow. But it would not give you access to everything in the environment. So you can start to sort of contain it, even if it does on a security side go bad, you know, the machine gets hacked or whatever it is, they're only getting access to that environment. That was kind of the difference. So yeah, it's a very good question. We even go one step further on our corporate machines using what they call a NAC agent. It's a network access control agent. Yeah. And that will check what is on the machine before it'll let you onto the network. So there's two layers.
It's like making sure that it's not vulnerable enough.
Exactly. It's like, it gets very like sophisticated in how many checks we do. We say, hey, first, are you good on the VPN side? VPN does the checks. Then once it passes that, it gets onto the network. The network access control will do its checks and say, hey, are you good to go? So yeah, it's a very good question, but it's absolutely needed.
So thank you, Kumail. And Kumail, while we're ending almost right here, would you join us again with I know it's not going to be 3 hours long thing, because in the beginning, what we're trying to do is to kind of cover the basics, right? So that's why it's taking so long. But then later on, we may get into very small videos, like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. What do you?
Yeah, absolutely. If we're on quarantine and we're locked down, man, I'm free. Let's do it.
and Kumail, another request from you. Would you consider, because if we get a lot of requests on your live, we get a lot of requests from live trainings from you or something like that, would you be open to that? Because I feel a lot of people want to learn your skills, man.
Let's do it. I'm always open to teaching. Let's do it. Let's get it done.
Thank you, Kumail.
Thanks.
Okay, so guys, anybody last questions before I show you just last things. If you guys want to learn more, I will show you some sites right here on our own equipments and stuff like that. If you don't have that, I can just take over. If you have a question, please go ahead and take the mic. Kev, do you have any question?
I can't like once what we talked about today, all the stuff that we talked about today, you're not gonna learn everything about. You're not gonna learn everything. Obviously, no one's gonna learn everything. So you take it one step at a time and learn as much as you possibly can, and ask questions and don't be shy to ask questions. That's why we're doing these live sessions, is to ask questions. It's not like there's no such thing as a dumb question. You want to ask us a question, go right ahead and ask us the question. We're here to help. This isn't like we're charging anything or any of that. We're just trying to help you guys out because a lot of people don't know how to get into IT, and a lot of people don't understand the concepts or terms of IT. So we try to make it as simple as possible.
So guys,
about it.
Yeah, go.
Can I jump in real quick? So yeah, going back to the questions, I've noticed, I know I do it a lot. Some of us guys who've been in IT for a little while, we tend to drop like acronyms that a lot of other people might not know. VPN, UNC path, right?
Yep.
This and that. Ask those questions because for us, it's just like second nature. We just say it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you don't know what that means, like ask. I think someone asked that earlier and I was like, oh, that's a very good thing. I don't know. Before someone had told me that, I wouldn't have known what it means, right? So just ask that. It's always great.
Hey guys, so at the end, if people are watching us and they're like, man, okay, you guys have talked so much and I learned a lot over here, but I really wanted that first start first of all, this is 4 hours video. Is there some kind of more academic way? I would say more academic is mean like more step-by-step approach, like a learning management system. So we have a full 100+ hours, Kumail, watch this, 100+ hours for people who want to start fundamental. It's just on this link, Jobskillshare/free, and you just have to register with the free account. Watch this video. The first course, this is almost 40% to 50% free in a way that it teaches you everything that you need to know as a fundamental person. Then the rest is free right here. This is an 80 hours course, right? Technical skills, help desk ticketing system, Active Directory, Office 365, resume, all of this stuff is for free. Now, where we charge people and we say that we're not doing more of the academic side of it, like on the website, then that's where you can pay a premium level or go for a live training, because in live training, we're spending 15 hours with you and then doing like a step-by-step. Hey, okay, you've done the 15 hours with us. We mentally broken you down into IT. You know the concept, you know some technical stuff. Then you get into more labs right here. So we give you the labs, and after that, we work on your resume as well. Now, after this, of course, we're giving you all this access that we were touching today. This is the stuff that is a part of your access. So you can come in for this, like 30 days of access and actually do things. And then, of course, practice lab is for 1 year. Now, of course, I'm going through this very quickly. You should always contact us before you spend even $1. But I can guarantee you, you will have a hard time finding a platform that have combined other platforms to give you resources. That's just unheard of, right? Even KevTech has been in this for 5 years, and Kumail is in it for so many years. We have done multiple platforms and combined it into one membership, so then we can go for different type of skills without getting stuck anywhere. So that is our like goal in this 5 years. That's what we did for you guys. But of course, that doesn't come for free. It does cost money. Now, if you want to do for free stuff, like I said, our channel is full of free stuff. And let me show you KevTech. And I want to give him a VIP thank you for doing this, because of course he has a channel. He could have done this on his channel. He would have not even given us his time. This is something that a person has to be very positive to think like this, because a lot of people don't think like that, right? That's my channel, so I'm not going to go out of my channel because it's not going to help me. It helps him too, because we were going to promote the hell out of him, because he's doing something great with the community. He's not telling people to, let me check your resume, so I'm going to charge you for $50 or $100. And he can rightly do it. Why? Because I also believe in an energy. And I'm a person who thinks that if I'm going to give you a quality information, and if it's going to take me 5 hours of my energy, 5 hours of my time for my family and everything, I also have a right to charge anybody, and that's not a negative thing. That's both way are positive. It doesn't matter. So we're not promoting one or other. We're saying that he's doing a great job, and that's what he's doing. So if you go to his channel, KevTech, KevTech. KevTech is his channel. And if you go to his channel and look at this, if you go to his playlist right here, he has every single thing that you're going to come across in level 1 site. And that's exactly what we have. So we're teaching in more of a course format. So it helps you more with the resources. He's teaching you directly skills at the same time, teaching you just like how we're doing it, but those are the two differences right here. But since we're doing it together now, it's like you go there, I go there. So if you are a member and you are a brand new person, I feel like I don't know how you can get lost after this. After going over this stuff, I just don't know how you can get out of the track.
Yeah, I can prove it's a lot of valuable information, even for free.
So again, at the end, Kev, do you want to say anything at the end for your channel or anything?
No, just thank you for taking the time to have me on this live chat. I greatly appreciate it. And that's about it.
All right, guys, thank you so much for all the time. Kumail, VIP again. Vilad, you guys are all VIPs for us. I mean, you guys have given us this time. I really appreciate it. This is going to be live on YouTube, so you guys can also share with other people. So then someone comes to you, Kumail, I want to become a technician. Say, go to that 4 hours video, bro. You got to go there first. You don't talk to me. First, you got to go there. So thank you, guys. This video will be up, and I'll send you a link for this if you guys want it. But you guys can go to our channel, and it will be there by tomorrow or probably in a few hours. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Danish, for like gathering all of us. And yeah, it's really important to be on track, and this kind of meetings helps a lot.
Thank you, everybody. And
Thanks.
be safe out there. Please take care of your family, wash your hands, and don't go too out right now. If you're still home, then this is the only fun thing we can do right now. So let's take benefit out of it.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.